Good afternoon, and it's a Friday. Did you know that, Jay?
I did know that.
It's a Friday. Are you happy?
I'm getting there.
Is that good?
Each day closer to the end of this thing, is the best.
Friday, March 34th. What would that be, April 3rd?
April 3rd.
Is that the date?
Today is April 3rd.
I love April so much, I'm not even going to throw that into this. So it's March 31st. Day 19 out of 57. Dining rooms closed all over the metro area 19 days ago. A day out of 57, 38 to go, Jay.
We're almost there.
30.
Almost there.
I don't know if we got a great show lined up for you guys, and thanks for tuning into the Modern Eater Show. For those that are new to the show, Jay, how would you describe it as I go over here and I do the due diligence and I get in the stream and I share it to my personal Facebook page?
How would I describe it?
Yeah.
We're a food and beverage company, media outlet that is focused on bringing the information to our food and beverage community, especially during these times. Normally, it's a lot more fun, and we cook,
got a beautiful
and
kitchen,
show off products and chefs and people and tell the story. But these days, unfortunately, it's a little bit more what's the word? Somber.
No, well, yeah, but community, right? I mean, a lot of good things are going on too, in spite the breakout of coronavirus and just the pivot points. And speaking of that, we're going to have the ultimate entrepreneur on the show today, Adam Schlegel. Have you ever met Adam?
I don't think I have. I don't think I've talked to him on the phone, and I felt excited for that. So I'd imagine in person. But
Sam Pasquale, have you ever met Adam? No, not yet. I will soon. I'm telling you, Jay, if we can get 1,000 viewers like at once.
You're not going to cut your hair.
1,000? Oh, stop it. We're never going to get 1,000 viewers at once.
Well,
but if you share, never say never. I promise you, the second I see 1,000 viewers, I'm going to just take this and shave all my hair.
Nope.
Plus, I need to cut it. Man, look at this bizarre. It's like a poof patty. It's just like a patty.
No guard. You're not going to put a guard on it. Just
head.
shave it straight up.
No guard.
I'm not buying it.
You're not?
I'm not buying it.
Well, let's get 1,000 viewers.
Let's do it.
We're only 942 away.
We're close. Yeah. 940.
Well, I'm telling you. How about you? 1,000 viewers. How about 200 viewers for you?
Nah, man, my crane. I see you have wonderful hair for a man your age, and you do. You have wonderful hair. I hate giving you any compliments.
I don't even know what that means.
You have wonderful hair for a man your age. I do not.
What do you mean, a man my age?
Well, we both know.
Hey,
what that
forget
means.
you. Council person at large Debbie Ortega is going to come on the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things. Hey, man, did you pay your rent?
No,
you didn't.
No.
Or your mortgage in your case?
No,
why am I laughing? That's terrible. I'm not laughing at you not being able to pay your mortgage.
I went to the website and they're like, "Can you not pay?" And they had a thing on the front. I applied for the "you can't pay your mortgage right now" thing.
How'd that go?
I don't know, 7 to 10 days, and they'll get back to me.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Councilperson Debbie Ortega is going to be joining us here in just a second. I see Debbie at home right now. Mm-hmm. Tell you the rest of the show. Ryan Odell from Odell Brewing Company. That's a highlight. That'll be fun.
Yeah. He's a cool dude. And obviously the brewery. I mean, their product speaks for itself.
So 3:00, Ryan Odell, and 3:30, Chef Noah Siebenaller.
Mm-hmm.
Think so? Mm-hmm. Or Siebenaller?
It might be close.
It's a tough one. Siebenaller.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
With a name like that, you forget the first part and just go, "Hey, Siebenaller," and you just say an aller.
Go right past it. 4 p.m., Susanna Kantor. And this was cool. I saw this. Denver Feed It Forward. These guys are doing great stuff. Wait until you hear what they're doing. Jay Johnson from Bear Creek Distillery. He's a favorite.
Yeah, he's a good buddy of ours, and I'm really excited to catch up with him.
He'll be on at 4:15 and 4:45. Our spirit guide, her name is Dr. Sara Metz. We call her lovingly Dr. Baby Yoda. She helps us get through the day. Every single day she joins us. So broadcasting from 2 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday is what we're doing right now. And then also don't forget about our Saturday show, that was like our seminal signature show, 6 to 8 p.m., iHeartRadio, stream live on Facebook and YouTube. And now it kind of takes the backseat through to our Monday through Friday coverage. But don't forget, tomorrow night, 6 to 8 p.m., we know you're not doing anything.
No, we went from one show to 6.
Yeah. I think it's day 8 of Shelter in Place, right? stay home. I had something. I'm having these really fluid dreams about the show, and I'm coming up with kind of like catchy things. Shelter in place. I had something for that.
My dreams are a little bit different.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the councilwoman right now. Council person at large, Debbie Ortega. She's a friend of the show. We always love catching up with her. I think she's at the Ortega household right now.
That is correct.
How are you, Council?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
We're holding up, right? I mean, 6 feet apart. Actually, Jay wants to do 8 feet, so we do the 8 feet with Jay. No problem there. How are you? How's the family?
I'm doing good. Everybody's fine. It's been busy. I'm working just as hard from home as if I were at my office. Actually, a little more so, because you don't leave for lunch. Stuff has to be followed up on, and you just do what has to be done. Sometimes it rolls into the evenings, but there's a lot of need out there that has to be addressed.
Well, let's unpack some things, if you will. And at 2:30, we're going to be joined by 2:30, 2:25, something like that. Adam Schlegel, co-owner of Chook and co-founder of Snooze AM Eatery, which we all love to go to. But he's doing great things as well, and we want to hear his pivot points from his entrepreneurial background. But here it is, folks all over the metro area are trying to navigate their way through, and this, whether it's a PPP or a loan, a small business loan, a lot of folks are just kind of like, how do I get to where I want to go right now? What are some of the things you're hearing into the office as a city council person?
So we're hearing both from employees and employers, people who are trying to figure out, that are having a hard time getting through the state lines for unemployment. And obviously that's all being done online or through the telephone, and getting through to a person has been challenging. We've had unprecedented numbers of people who need their unemployment, that are currently laid off. And it'll be exciting when you hear what Adam is working on, because I think that's a great way of trying to still support our workforce. But in addition to that, we're hearing from employers who are struggling, that have a lease on their building. Most of them don't own their own buildings. They want to know what state, local, and federal resources are available. So I provided you the links on all three of those, so that can be shared with your listening audience that can, kind of plug in there. The city has set aside $2 million that has been provided to Mile High United Way, that is administering a fund that can be up to $7,500 per business. It's predominantly for temporary closures. So people who have to pay their rent, that have utility costs coming due, that had to lay off their staff. And, those are some of the big things we're dealing with in terms of the impact to not just the restaurant community, but other small businesses that are trying to figure out how they stay afloat. As you can imagine, we've got a ton of concessionaires out at the airport, and with the significant 90% decline in airport traffic, some of them have had to shut their doors for right now, and others are just, kind of limping along, keeping their doors open for the little bit of traveling public that is still moving through the airport. So yeah, we're trying to figure it all out. And while at the same time, our city has already taken about an $8.5 million hit, just in all of the emergency stuff that we're doing to just take care of people and, work with all of the state and federal collaborators on this stuff.
A lot to unpack there, right?
Yeah.
Whew, where do we begin? Let's start with the workers and unemployment. The website's been an interesting thing. Actually, Jay Parker, who you know very well, he moonlights in the service industry and laid off like many others, furloughed, hopefully going back to work, but can't get into the website. What changes are being done for folks to be able to make that more accessible?
Well, unfortunately, that's a state system. We don't have anything to do with that at all. We have shared concerns. So I've been part of calls that are happening every morning with local elected officials. These are folks that are from Northwest Denver. So it includes DPS, RTD, state and local elected leaders, just talking about some of these challenges and issues. So it started out with, DPS sharing information about the fact that they have the lunch program, and they made a lot of changes just based on, initial feedback. So at first they had to bring the kids with them. Now you don't have to have the kids. But it morphed from there. And so in addition to, the focus around not just kids, but families with kids, what are we doing to take care of seniors? And so there have been calls going into households all across the city of everybody that's 65 plus and trying to identify what their needs are. The biggest challenge is getting groceries to them so that they can eat. Other people will start having issues, and we're starting to hear from, not just businesses, but households that whose rent is due, right? It's the first of the month. And you've heard a lot on the news about that. And the city does have a program that is trying to assist people who haven't gotten a paycheck and can't pay their rent. And so we've got a program called the TRUA program. It's a temporary rental assistance and utility program. And that's administered by 3 different nonprofit organizations who are taking calls from folks and just trying to identify what their need is and trying to assist them with those resources. We don't know yet whether the city is going to put more money into it if those are exhausted pretty quickly. So those are just a couple of the things that are happening. I mean, there's a lot going on where, we're all trying to be engaged in one way or another. I know you have Slavitsa Park coming on Monday. Mm-hmm. Talk about a program that is that she and I had been working on to try to figure out how do we help get protective masks out to frontline workers who are still out there, whether it's people working in restaurants where we're, encouraging people to take out food from their local restaurants, who can't get their hands on the N95 masks, or, we just heard from RTD who has an interest for bus drivers, but I don't want to steal her thunder. I'll let her share more with you about all of that on Monday, but that's another example of a project that's been launched behind all of this COVID-19, virus that is impacting everybody.
Yeah.
The message we want to keep sending to everybody is keep your distance, wash your hands. I think it's important to wear a protective mask because if you have one and you're coughing or sneezing, you're not spreading that. And likewise, if somebody else has one, they can't spread it to you either. It doesn't mean that it fully protects you. You still have to wash your hands. Don't touch your face if you've touched any kind of surface. So it's all part of the education that we have to keep doing to let people know that we're not out of the woods yet, right? We still have a ways to go before we can say this has passed. And I think we're going to see just overall impact to our economy. I mean, we've seen it happen already, but I think it's going to be a while before we see that have the kind of rebound that we saw after the last, the last economic hit to our economy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which we look at the hit that's taking place now, it's really not the fault of anybody else. The brakes were, we slammed on the brakes and no fault to anybody around us. And that's kind of been the consensus from a lot of business owners is that I wish we had something to do with this being our fault, but we don't. And now we're faced to figure out how to sink or swim. And so, Debbie, and again, let's go back to the workers just a little bit. And I'm thinking about leniency and the ripple effect. Now, obviously, folks that are worried about paying their rent or their phone bills or the basic types of things. What's the city's stance on eviction right now, or the most basic types of needs for folks?
So this is not something we have a lot of control over.
Sure.
But where the city does have resources into some of the development projects, they can waive the payment or push it down the road. So with those properties, we have some direct effect. But part of the stimulus package does have some information in there where, if your mortgage had Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loans on them, that there was criteria in there that says those should push kick the can down the road just a little bit so that it's providing the relief to the people who need it. Now, obviously, if people have the ability to pay their rent, they should do that and not just say, let's all just take advantage of this, because what that does is it begins to crumble all the way down, because it means that if they don't pay their rent, then you have the owner of the building who can't pay their mortgage, and then the bank going after them. So it just has this ripple effect. I received some information just yesterday from a landlord who owns a number of apartment buildings, and what they're doing is, really encouraging all of their people who can pay their rent just to pay it so that it doesn't put them behind. And for the number of people in several of their buildings who can pay the rent, it allows them to provide relief to the people who cannot, but they can't continue to do that for months and months. So, you've got this delicate balance between trying to support the workers, but at the same time, understanding what that effect is to the property owners as well.
Yeah. I think most people would prefer to pay their rent.
Yes.
And right now, when we're cash strapped and kind of waiting for that relief, I guess I was just wondering from a city standpoint, when it comes to evictions and what happens in our court system, are those being put on hold or discouraged against eviction processes right now?
So our courts have, so they're not meeting. They've extended their stay, if you will, in terms of not opening their doors. And I think you may have heard in the news some time ago that there was an attorney who had who had positive coronavirus. And so the concern is for everybody's health, but it doesn't mean that people cannot still do electronic filings. Mm-hmm. So we're all still working from home, trying to manage caseloads and whatnot. But it's harder for, just the average person to do that if they're having to do it online. Mm-hmm. We also have an eviction assistance program that started with members of city council putting funding into it, and it's now been incorporated into the city budget, so that when people receive an eviction notice, there is a place where they can go to try to, garner legal assistance. We're hoping that landlords have that understanding and try to work with their tenants. But again, it's a delicate balancing act in terms of how you work to take care of the workers with the various supports that we have, but at the same time, trying to support the businesses so they can stay afloat as well.
Let's talk about businesses right now. Small businesses are just being shattered and taking huge hits in a time that the only thing that's certain is uncertainty. So strange. Folks the ripple effects takes place, and it's so delicate right now that, again, just trying to do what you can when you can and communicating is very big right now. But a dead tenant, to be quoted by David Burzin from Snooze AM Eatery, a dead tenant is not a good tenant to anybody. So having a place that's empty doesn't benefit anybody at all. What do you feel from, and again, I guess I'm asking you to speculate because the city probably, the stance is going to be the same as a resident in their home. on evictions. But that relief or that help for businesses, what's some advice that we can give them right now?
Well, so I think the most important thing is to give them the information about the resources that are available and to encourage them to apply for those funding sources so that can assist their business in, paying their rent, paying their utilities. In the case of the restaurants, you're going to hear from Adam, what they're doing to try to keep their workforce on board. That keeps their doors open. They're doing some incredible stuff. So I think a lot of this has forced many of us to be more creative in looking at how we're not only trying to keep doors open, but at the same time meeting part of the need in the community. One of the things that I've asked one of my staff to do, and we worked with the city planning department to get the comprehensive list of all of our registered neighborhood organizations and our nonprofit organizations. We've got a survey that was sent out to them trying to figure out who's doing what for whom and where so that we can try to be more strategic in figuring out, as we know we have resources available, food being one of the biggest issues. How do we make sure it's getting to where that need is rather than just, having a same community being served by multiple sources and other neighborhoods who are getting nothing, for example. So this data, I think, will be helpful just for general purposes of, resource mapping and resource distribution. And once all of that is compiled, we're going to share that with our Office of Emergency Management. They're trying to coordinate some of this stuff through 211 with United Way. And so I think this is where business partnership is happening. So the MASS project, it involves a couple of nonprofit organizations, but there's a local business that is partnering in that project as well. And we actually worked with them to get the waiver approval from the state so they could keep their doors open and continue helping to make the masks. Otherwise, they were one of the categories that was going to be shut down and not be able to operate at all. So these are some of the kinds of things that are happening. Same thing happened with one of the nonprofit partners who was assisting with not only supplying materials for this project, but they are doing food collections, and then they're transporting a lot of the donated canned goods and whatnot over to VOA, Volunteer America, who operates a really big food bank, and then they're trying to supply some of the local food banks. So it's some of that kind of stuff where partnerships, I think, are coming together in a way that haven't always worked together with one another, and then looking at what kind of resources are available to be able to help people to, get the job done.
Sure. 2:30, Adam Schlegel will join us right now. Councilperson at Large Debbie Ortega joins us, and I love to have conversations back and forth. But Debbie, I know that you don't want to get too in the weeds with certain things, but I know how creative Denver has been for small businesses, and I also know your passion to be a voice for the underserved in this community. A lot of the relief that we see on a federal level comes to those that can qualify for SBAs, that know how to navigate through all of these materials. A staggering statistic coming from the Colorado Restaurant Association and the National Restaurant Association is that 14% of small business restaurants will cease to exist if they're not reopened in 30 days. I would imagine that socioeconomically that's probably the lower end of the demographic of folks with resources. Is Denver looking ahead of this to see what are some creative things that we can do in order to help the underserved be small business people in this city?
We had this very conversation this morning in our morning conference call with the elected officials. And we normally have someone from the mayor's office participating in that process. So, it's one thing when you lose your workforce and what happens to those workers. And when you start looking at how many people are in the service industry, a large number of them are undocumented. They're people who are not going to be eligible for some of the resource dollars that are coming to the average worker, right?
Amen.
And so we're trying to figure out how are we making sure that there's that safety net. So you've got that, and then we have, this whole other challenge with so many of our unhoused neighbors that are either sleeping outside or they're in and out of the shelter system. And, what people don't know is that 40% of the people in the shelter system work, and they're part of the reliable, dependable workforce that many of our businesses depend upon. And so we're having that large conversation. That's where, again, I think that resource and asset mapping becomes really helpful in terms of just making sure that we know where to plug people in, where those needs creep up, and we can better direct them.
I really hope, and again, if there's any kind of brainstorming that we can all do or get in on a call for that, I'd love to be a part of that, because I am a firm believer in that segment of the population, that restaurants are really held up by folks that are underserved or undocumented. And we've saw before, pre-coronavirus, the struggles that restaurants were going through in order to maintain a kitchen staff or folks that are working. An article that shocked me, Debbie, is social distancing a privilege? And if you take that in and you think of, okay, the underserved population are probably continuing to work right now for restaurants. They're traveling on public transportation. They're probably a lot less safe than we are in the confines of our homes right now. And I really want all of us not to forget that.
Well, there are groups like, hey, Adam, there are groups like RTD who are actually in the middle of making some changes. They'll be making an announcement that you'll hear about, where people who get on a bus will now load from the back. You will not be impacting that driver, for example. And the Mass Project, again, will be to try to target these frontline workers who are interfacing with the public so that they're not being put at undue risk. So yeah, lots of things happening, and you're gonna hear from Adam on some great and fun stuff that they're working on as well.
Yeah, Debbie, I am so thankful to have you still a part of the city council, and as we pull back this scab that maybe we hadn't looked at in a long time to address some of these issues, that when we look at silver linings at times like this, maybe just maybe some of these issues will be at the forefront of conversation and we can make some progress together.
They already are. And Adam and I are trying to collaborate where we can and make sure that, the right hand knows what the left hand's doing. And when they don't, just trying to make those connections happen.
Yes, ma'am. Anything you need. Quickly, I know I would be remiss, and I know your passion for this. Give 30 seconds on the census and the importance.
Yes, please. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So April 1 was count day, and people have received their notice from the U.S. Census Bureau. There are only 9 questions on there, and we want to make sure that everybody knows they still need to get it in, even though the Census Bureau has pushed things down the road by 2 weeks from having any of the enumerators go out and knock on people's doors who have not filled out their form by April 1. So you have 2 weeks still before you have somebody come knocking at your door. But the message is get that questionnaire in as soon as possible. Do it by phone. You can do it online. And even if you didn't get the letter and you don't have your unique identifier number, you can still go to uscensus.gov, and they will be able to accommodate you in many different languages. So you don't have to be just a native English speaker to be able to get on. And everybody counts, whether you're here from another country, going to school, whether you came here as an undocumented child and grew up here, everybody counts. This is nothing more than a census of who we are and where we are that's done every 10 years. And it's how our federal dollars come back to our community. And when you look at how much money is being spent today on this coronavirus, a lot of those resources come from the federal government. And these are our tax dollars but it's how they're allocated, and it's based on, every community striving for that complete count. It's also how congressional seats are allocated. And if Colorado, submits their numbers based on the number of people we know are here, then we will more than likely have another congressional seat, which means we get another vote in the Electoral College as well.
A larger voice.
Yes, absolutely.
She's one of the great all-timers right there. Councilperson Debbie Ortega. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys continuing to do this and just educate the public about everything that's going on. So just a reminder to share that link with those resources.
Doing it right now.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Whew, that was a good one. We're not even going to take a breath right now because Adam Schlegel joins us and talk about great all-timers. Here he is, entrepreneurship at its finest, owner of Chook and co-founder of Snooze AM Eatery. You've fed me so many times in the morning, hangover or not. I don't know. You've been there for us. That's what we love. Hey, Adam, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah. Right. It's a standard question. It's hard not to give the standard good.
Yeah, well, you can say, hey, I'm doing terrible or whatever. But here we are, and just trying to keep that unity as we get rid of the social distancing and we physical distance and come socially together more. And I think that that's really what we need right now. Let's dig in. Do you mind just giving I'll mess it up. I know, but 30 seconds about yourself, and we'll get going after that.
Quick 30 seconds. I've been in the restaurant business for about 14 years. Started with Snooze, my brother's idea. Fortunate that he brought me along. Helped build up that spot. It's doing obviously wonderful things and still try to be as involved as I can, but there's many smart people doing it. Was the executive director for Eat Denver for a number of years. Still try to help that organization however I can. Partner with Alex Seidel and Randy Lehman about a year and a half ago, opened up Chook, kind of a neighborhood chicken and vegetable joint.
And a great place too. Nice that you have that neighborhood location, a little history in there, and as you continue to move forward with that. So yeah, minimal involvement with Snooze at this point, but still serve on the board, correct?
Yep. Yeah. So, I still try to do a lot with our sustainability and community side. Those are kind of always my favorite pieces of what it is that we are doing. But then certainly on the board at large, and, just try to help and applaud from the sidelines and watch it go.
The crazy uncle.
Yeah, that's probably a good description.
Why not? They don't let you touch any buttons anymore, which is fine.
But I actually don't run to them anymore either.
Yeah. Sustainability, that word's thrown around a little bit, and some people really know the true meaning, but I always like to get the take. What's your take on sustainability?
Sustainability to me is environment. And I honestly think that I've heard it thrown around a lot as being a sustainable business, which could mean so many different things, and viability. I think about sustainability and I think about the environment and our stewardship to the earth. And so I think at the core of sustainability, it's essentially saying, how can I act today to ensure is as good or better tomorrow? So sustainability in restaurants, I think overlooked. Certainly the food industry is ripe for many of the ailments of our society, while food really should be the cure. And so there's a lot of things that restaurants can do, from the chemicals that we all use to the food that we source to the way we dispose to the way we transport food. We are large players in the environmental field. And so, I think it's everybody's goal and mission. It should be, and certainly always has been at Snooze and always will be at Chook, of just being stewards and trying to do the right thing.
I was going to say that it transcends into business, though, at some point, because it's your ethos and also how you cultivate that community around you of people with like-minded thought processes.
Yeah, I think why Snooze has worked, and I think why Chook is working, or was a month ago, is because of people. Like restaurants work because of people. We've always been a very hard on our sleeve kind of business, and so trying to be integral members of the community has always been important, and being stewards and caring about our environment. And so we have more and more people working for our organizations because they want to do the right thing. They want to source the right food. They want to know that their waste isn't contributing to a landfill, that we're just trying to build, a business that is for good versus how many others have been there. So that really is a lot of the genesis of what we did. And certainly with Alex and Randy, when we sat down, is like, we need to be a regenerative business. Like, everything we do should have a positive footprint flowing forward.
God bless you. Can we just triplicate you? I don't know. How many can we get of you? That'd be fantastic. You're entrepreneurial. You're an entrepreneur at heart. Where'd you get that from?
God, I really have no idea. I've never been a person of any grand ambition. I never thought I would be doing half of what it is. I think I've learned a tremendous amount from my brother, who is very entrepreneurial. And I think he was always a good example to me of taking those bold moves. I've never been risk averse, but maybe never harnessed a particular idea. I think working alongside my brother, and then just, through Denver and working with so many other restaurants and just seeing that creativity, I love to create, but I love solving problems, and I love trying to make things better. So I think that's kind of the core is, I've always had risk aversion, and I've definitely learned from a lot of good leaders to take the opportunity when you get it. So again, I'm always bewildered when I'm talking on a radio show or having any sort of discussion with people way over my head. And yet this is the opportunity I get. And so I want to take it and see what good can come from it.
Do you not enjoy the business portion of these things? What we're seeing right now.
A month ago, totally different.
Yeah. In 2006, when you and your brother John founded Snooze, you didn't know you were faced a 2008 recession as well. So, facing these things is not new, but it hinders growth. Absolutely. So with that in mind, and again, businesses are turned upside down and on their ear right now. The only thing that's certain is uncertainty. Lots of changes are happening, not only with Snooze and Chook and businesses around, and folks are navigating all together. Snooze has decided to close down till the 1st of June, correct? Or July?
Well, right now we have a handful of restaurants, unless you've heard different news than I have.
No, go ahead, please.
We have a handful of restaurants that are actually still open, doing takeout and delivery. But, even the number of restaurants that are doing that have actually shrunk down. So like our Snooze Union Station, we won't be doing the takeout from there. We'll transition over to Snooze Ballpark. We're in 7 states. We have 40 restaurants. So there's still a large number that are open and working. But, Snooze is it's an experience, a sit-down dining experience. And so we're trying our best to transition that to an experience in a takeaway and delivery mode.
Sure. As we pivot, right? What are you seeing as far as pivot points? And I know that, one of the analogies we've been using is, I've been using is pruning the tree, of making sure the branches are pruned down for the overall health of the mechanism. In this case, your restaurants. People are at the forefront of decision making, right? In order to retain the people, in order to get going again. One of the decisions, and correct me if I'm wrong, is Snooze as an organization has decided to not pay rent for 3 months.
I mean, again, I most of my time is spent really on Chook, and there's a number of other examples. So
I guess where I'm not driving you.
The restaurant that I know is actively working with all their landlords to figure out how rent abatement happens. All of us have had to figure out, or had to do the very unfortunate thing with our staffs. All of us are seeing 20 to 80% to beyond revenue cuts. The largest single fixed cost that a restaurant has is rent. And if you don't have any money to pay, then you don't have any money to go there.
Right.
So we are actively working with all of our landlords, many of who have been great, honestly, to figure out how we pass this. But I also know that many of us are going for this PPP loan, which does provide some money and leverage for rent. So, we're all knocking on wood that plan actually comes through, and nobody wants to accrue a future debt in rent and pass it off now. Like, it's hard enough just to stay in business, let alone have accruing debts all over the place.
Sure. And that's a fair assessment. Let's jump forward to Chook and your everyday operations with that.
Yeah, I'm always happy to, but yeah, I'm just like, Snooze is working to try to abate rent in any ways it can.
Mm-hmm.
But I work with dozens and dozens of restaurants and talk to them all the day, and we're all like talking together saying, how are you paying rent? How are we not paying rent? How do we figure it out? So there's a tremendous amount of collaboration, I would say, within the restaurant industry, whether you've been around 14 years and you have 40 restaurants, you've been around for a year and you have one. Because we're all in this crazy ship together right now.
Yeah, it is that, and that's just exactly what it is. So jumping to Chook, obviously you'd love your dining room to be open, but you did have to pivot. And boy, I mean, what better than delicious chicken, right? What are some of the things that you're doing to be able to keep the doors open for Chook for business?
Well, it's really transitioned just to be this takeout business and even delivery. And we actually signed up with DoorDash a week ago, a move I never thought I would ever make, just because, as many people know, how much revenue is taken from a delivery, third-party deliveries. However, our guests are used to going to DoorDash. People get delivery through that mechanism. And so we jumped on the bandwagon last week and utilized that. But in addition, social media ramp ups, trying to make it as engaging and educational and fun when you can. We still do need to have some fun in this, while obviously maintaining great standards. Randy Lehman's, just a brilliant human being, and I think he's enacted some of the best safety and sanitation kind of practices you can. And so we're honestly, we're trying to promote how safe and clean and delicious and wonderful your Chook experience can be. And, we're painting our windows and sending more newsletters than I ever wanted to do, and jumping on radio shows whenever you can. And
sure.
We're all just, it's like all hands on deck. And I think there's, it is wonderful to be in neighborhoods like we are. We're over in a Hilltop Mayfair neighborhood. We're over in like the Platt Park, Wash Park neighborhood. And I've really just seen tremendous support from regulars and so many other folks. So we're doing our parts. And then I would definitely, applaud all the guests out there, because I think you guys are really doing their parts as well to keep these businesses afloat during this really tough time.
So true. Absolutely true. Lessons to be learned and people that are doing things that are inspiring you. Are there any shout outs of people that you're seeing right now shine? I'm seeing a lot of people shine right now.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, Juan Padro, I think he deserves tremendous shout outs from everyone who runs the culinary creative group. He is a true dynamic leader. I think we're all fortunate, honestly, in the city and state to have him.
It's interesting. He says the same thing about you.
I think we swap that. Just be like, hey, hook me up.
No. Great accolades from two great guys.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's so many folks. I'm sure. Hopefully, we'll talk about this Colorado Restaurant Response Program and how many folks have jumped in to do that. Visit Denver really jumped on this To Go Denver, project, and really helped collaborate on bringing those kind of aspects together.
Well, let's dig in. Let's start there.
Yeah, and I always will say the Big Red F Company, to me, is one of the best organizations out there. So whether it's Dave or Dana or Iva Townsend with HR, like they are also beacons for all of us and how to treat people right, do the right thing. So there's a lot.
The response program. I would love for you to just kind of talk about that, and then we'll go back and forth with some conversation.
Yeah. So Colorado Restaurant Response idea kind of morphed, I think, from from a group that was really spearheaded by a guy named Gabe Cohen. He used to be the general manager for Lyft here in Denver. We were on the board for Visit Denver together, and he had this idea, called me, I don't know, 10 days ago on a Sunday. And it's just like, what do you think of this? I'm like, I think it's great. Jumped on a call on Monday with a group of 12, 15 super dynamic people, Boston Consulting Group's EIS Solutions, the chairman of Sage Hospitality. And the whole idea was really simple and beautiful in that it's how can we raise money, take this money, go to these restaurants that are simply not even functioning anymore, or dark restaurants, use this money to have them rehire their staff, and then they will produce 500 meals every single day from these restaurants, and we will take all of these meals and direct them to food insecure, elderly, and even earmarking a number of them for a specific hospitality industry that obviously saw such furloughed names. So this project, again, it was kind of created last Monday, and in a week's time, we managed to get 4 just tremendous restaurants on board. Rioja with Jen and Beth, and Alex with Mercantile, and Matt Vodder, Juan, and all of his team is Max and Blake, and then Sage Hospitality and Kachina and Jessica Werner all came together, pulled this whole thing together, raised a bunch of money, and worked with Bondadosa and the Denver Emergency Food Network, and started creating 2,000 meals every single day as of Monday. So
wow, it's increased. I mean, the aspirations were about 500.
So yeah, and so we kicked it off with 4 restaurants on Monday. We continue to do a lot of push and fundraising because it's the right program. Like, we're putting people back to work, and we're providing meals to those that are in need. It's just like this huge win-win-win. And so we're really hoping to figure out how we get more money raised, because the more money raised means that there are a number of kitchens, many that are emailing me and the whole team now, of saying, how do I get involved? But 10, 20, 30 restaurants should be doing this that are feeding food insecure, which is way too many always, but certainly is rampant now, to certainly morphing and figuring out how we help feed the front line. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, like, it's the most inspirational thing I would say I've got going on right now. In a work-related world, it's really tremendous project. It's fun to be a part of.
Isn't it interesting to see a sector of the population in food service get hit so hard, but be the first to respond to help others?
But as restaurateurs, like, I think we would expect this. It's like, it's in our nature. We serve. That's our job, is to be of service and to try to help out. And so I think it's only natural to see so many people raise their hands. I think the good part too is, I think people from so many sectors, consulting, technology, all across the board, who are realizing how impactful this is and how they're using their skill sets to really help us in this, like, dramatic time of need.
Colorado restaurant response and making meals for those in need right now. How are there ways that folks can either contribute, or whether it be financially or with donating products? How could other people get involved, Adam?
So coloradorestaurantresponse.org is the website, and you can go directly on there and provide financial donations. It's honestly probably the best and easiest way to do it. There is a link to other ways to get involved if you are interested in volunteering, if you're a restaurant interested in getting engaged. Obviously, it's a lot of work just to have one restaurant producing 4 meals or 500 meals 45 days straight. Mm-hmm. And so we're just trying to get as much mass as we can right now. We feel really good about these 4 restaurants doing it. But funding is obviously the best way. We've had a number of purveyors reaching out. I see a number of them in the back of your screen, Raquelitas and such, that are providing products to these restaurants to help them cover the cost, because we're all trying to do this at the most minimal costs. So each meal essentially is $6. And we're taking half of that and using it towards food costs, and the other half goes to help us pay labor. And so we're actually able to roughly hire about 10 people back into each one of these restaurants working again. So
fantastic.
Yeah, it's cool. It's neat.
This is the type of stuff that actually gets you out of bed in the morning, right? Right
Oh,
now.
it does. Yeah. I mean, I spent 2 days ago just filling out unemployment forms for my former staff and filling out loans. And I was like, I've just got to get back into this CCR project because I feel good. And then I go talk to my staff and my team at Chook and see their energy. And, we're people. So we need to connect and we need to feel like we're helping.
The culture you're cultivating at Chook, it's interesting. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Well, can you talk about that? What do you mean?
Well, I think that you've got folks around you that are kind of like-minded people, and Chook is one of those things, and I didn't want to get too business far into it, but there's not really one stone unturned. That place is ready to scale, and I don't know what your business goals are with that, but you've got that pretty precise in every aspect of that. But the folks that you're hiring, I think, are pretty extraordinary folks. And I think that culture comes from a lot of how you and Alex conduct yourselves.
Well, thanks. Certainly nothing's perfect, but, it really started with Alex, Randy, and I think each one of us has very different skill sets. And are also very good at what it is that they do. And so you spoke earlier about business, and do I enjoy that aspect? Like, that is what I do. I am a business person. I'm just fortunate that my business is restaurants, and I love what I get to do. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Alex is Alex. There's not many that can compare to his genius when it comes to food and really just how he embodies himself and inspires people. And then Randy Lehman, to me, is one of the best service industry folks I know. He's just a natural, genuine leader. So because we had that kind of trifecta at the start was why all of us said yes, because we all didn't necessarily need or want the stress that comes with opening this. But starting with that nucleus of this, and starting also around this idea of, being a business for good. I used to say this, and Randy didn't like it because he's just so sensible, but I'm like, how do we create this utopian restaurant where everything we do is positive for the environment, that we give a lot of money back to our communities, that we create this employee ownership program, that we just are just good on so many levels, and do it all based around just this very worldly fare that everybody appreciates, that had its kind of origin in Australia, but the amount of folks I see from Colombia or from France or really anywhere in South America, rotisserie chicken is a national dish for so many. So to center it all around just this really good, clean food that's accessible, that's relatively affordable, and then balance it with all of these aspirations that Alex and Randy and I kind of started, but now we see morphing because we've been able to attract such just awesome people.
Well, I guess that's what I mean about the culture there. That's so cool to hear. And a lot of travel. What's your favorite place that you've traveled to? I know you love to travel.
I've spent a lot of time in Australia, where my wife is from, and we've spent a lot of time there. I've definitely dreamed of Australian beaches a lot over the past couple of weeks. Australia, specifically this Mornington Peninsula, it's one of the greatest places on earth. But one of the best travels I ever had was with my brother in Osaka, way back when 2 years after Snooze happened, and we realized that we weren't going to lose everything, and had a chance to actually work and play. And then Munich. Munich is the greatest city.
Interesting.
It's one of those places where I think I am Bavarian. I think I just naturally belong there. Drinking half a liter of beer at 9 a.m, eating pretzels, just feels right.
When was the last time you've been?
Oh, probably 10 years. About 10 years ago. 10 or 15.
10, 15. What's your favorite book behind you?
The book I always go back to at least once a year is Siddhartha by Herman Hesse. And I will read that once a year as a grounding moment. I will definitely read it in the next 2 weeks because this epitomizes what it is. And then beyond that, I don't know. I see that barbarian days of surfing life, and again, I'm really having this longing to see the sea. So that's actually a pretty good mindless read if you can download it. I've got a pretty fun book on soccer right now. That's also another way to avoid the news.
I know it. What didn't we cover that you feel is important that folks should know right now?
I mean, I think it's often heard, but just again, the appreciation of the support of these small businesses and how reliant we are on that right now. And so please continue to support and knowing that we're doing all the safeties and precautions that we can to ensure that everything is in a good place. Continue to speak up to whoever you can, politicians and friends and neighbors, about how important it is for our small business community to be together. And then I think just also knowing that we all are grappling with so much, and the safety and health of our communities and our staff. And I think just please know that everybody is really acting from this place of selfless help. And not everybody's going to do it right out of the gates as the world continues to evolve. So compassion and belief in that we're all trying to do the best for all of us in this world that we've never seen before is hopefully gets us all a long way and eventually gets us back even to hugging, although it'll probably be 12 months.
I tell you what, Adam Schlegel, thanks for joining us. ColoradoRestaurantResponse.org. And as you talked about, just hoping you can do the best job for folks and be that steward. You know, truth be told, there's so much going on right now, and getting the best out of you, and in a time to where you probably just don't want to really even talk much. I know that people are really at the forefront of your thoughts and your feelings and business. Yes. But restaurants can be rebuilt or renamed or regrouped. And the folks that you love this business, you love the folks and the community, and you are that person. When I look at service industry, you know, what do you do? Where do you take it? And so having you on today in a time to where it's very difficult, I'd love to be able to just laugh and scratch with you and talk about good stories. And I hope I could just touch the surface of getting across the points that you'd like to do. I love what you're doing with ColoradoRestaurantResponse.org and Gabe Cohen and the things that all of those great minds are putting together. That if there's anything that we can do right now, it's those things come together with smarter minds prevail and community. And that's really what you've always built yourself off on, is putting smart people with good community around you. And I love that we started out with sustainable, because that's what we need right now to get to the other side.
Totally. Really appreciate all you're doing and the voice that you're creating. So thank you for the opportunity to speak and have the dialogue. And
yeah.
You're good.
Take care of Sarah and your boys, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks, Adam.
Cheers, man. Thanks.
There he is. Whew. That was, what do you do? Guys in service industry for forever and a day, and built it from the ground up, and love that. Brian Freeman jumps into the studio here, and I know you wanted to get in on that interview, Brian. Sorry, there was a flow there. We've got a schedule that we're keeping. Ryan Odell standing by for that. In the meantime, Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions, you got to clean out those tap lines, Jay, and leaving beer sitting around, not a good thing. Hey, brighten that mood back up. What's going on here? You sure do.
I just
come on, Jeff Rourke, A+ Beverage Solutions. Beer needs to flow, and it needs to flow well, right? If you're letting that beer sit in your tap lines right now, you don't want to do that. You got to get ready. And flushing out those tap lines is at the top of the priority list, because if you're pouring inefficient beer when you get going, what are you doing?
You're pouring your money down the drain.
Don't pour your money down the drain. Get a hold of Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions, 720-272-3809, 720-272-3809. He is standing by with an offer. That offer is $10 per line. to clean those out. And he'll check to make sure everything else, your glycol, and you're going to be running smoothly when you reopen. So Jeff Rourke and A Plus Beverage Solutions, that's a family-owned and operated business. Get a hold of Jeff. Councilperson at large Debbie Ortega joined us at the beginning of the show. Adam Schlegel, owner of Shook and co-founder of Snooze AM Eatery. Ryan Odell standing by for Ryan, and Brian Freeman joins us on the show as well. Chef Noah Siebenaller, Beasts and Brews, will join us at 3:30 and 4 p.m. Susanna Kantor and Lisa Stites from Denver Feed It Forward will join us as well. 4:15, Jay Johnson and Bear Creek Distillery, and 4:45, Dr. Sara Metz or Dr. Baby Yoda. How you doing, Brian?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How about yourself, man?
What chefs want? You're going to grow that out, aren't you?
Yes.
I'm telling you.
I hear
Right
Ryan.
here
I
on the
just
show.
don't see him yet.
Oh, yeah, we don't see him yet. What would you want to add to that?
Oh, I think it would be important for people to understand the different roles that Adam and Alex and Randy all have with inside the organization, because I think each one of them
Bring different things.
bring a different aspect to the organizations that they're managing. And also Adam, I don't think we talked about his other projects that he has, because he and Alex actually have the Fruition Farm project that they are working on. And so I might have gone a little into that, but I think you did an awesome job, man. There was no
that's
need
a tough
for
one, because he's a guy that he's on the front lines. You know, if you were to visit Snooze, or whether it be the Larimer one, he'd be a guy that in the beginning days would wait on you.
Oh, I know. I sold him produce from the day they opened. I was one of their distributors from the day they opened. It's actually how I met several other connections and became great friends with Spencer Lomax.
Spencer, yeah, that's right. Spencer was a Cisco rep, wasn't he? And
he and I were competing for John and Adam's business in the beginning.
And we got to do this. He's on with us right now. Ryan Odell Brewing Company. Ryan.
Hello.
Hey, man. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you guys?
Oh, hanging in, trying to do this.
Yeah.
Keep people connected.
Yeah.
Looking good. I want that hat, man. That's a good looking hat right there. One of my favorite breweries, Fort Collins, Colorado. Take 30 seconds to talk about yourself, and then another 30 seconds to talk about the brewery.
Sure. So I am our Colorado sales manager, and so I manage our sales team outside of Larimer County, where we self-distribute. We have a group of 10 or 12 up there that do everything from beginning to end as far as distribution goes. And then I manage our team that works with our 3 outside wholesalers in Colorado. I've been with the brewery for 10 plus years now. I started as a promo guy and then worked my way into a sales rep role, and slowly progressed into middle management, I guess.
Doesn't everybody start out as a promo guy?
That's kind of how it works.
I think everybody wants to know, hey, do you just have the same last name, or what's going on with this?
So really interesting story. So I am related to Doug and Wynn and Corky Odell, who are the founders of the brewery. Corky is my mom. She was married to my dad, Steve, who also had the same last name. So his last name has an apostrophe like my last name, capital D with an apostrophe, where my mom and her brother and his wife, who are Doug, Wynn, and Corky, no apostrophe, lowercase d. So it's both coincidence and relation. It's crazy.
That's not odd. None of that is weird.
Yeah, it's really strange for sure.
Talk about the brewery.
Yeah, so we've been around since 1989. We started up in Fort Collins, as you mentioned. We have 2 breweries now. We have one in Rhino at 30th and Larimer here in Denver. That's more of an R&D brewery for us. Our main production facility is up in Fort Collins, where we bottle and can and keg and all of that. We've got tap rooms at both locations. The one in Fort Collins is huge. It's the one that's been around. We've been in that particular location since 94. And it's just it's grown in that same footprint. Since then.
Love that brewery.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I mean, springtime right now. Brian, have you been up there?
Oh, yes. I love it. Well, it's actually their facility that they're in now is new compared to the original.
It's growing. Our 2013 was our last major improvement, I guess you could say. We added our now current production brew house. And when we did that, we shifted the parking lot to the other side of the building, and so we were able to use what was the parking lot as our backyard tap room area.
That's where the basketball hoop is.
I think
Next
so.
Next to the barrel rooms.
It gets in the back. So then, that actually is a completely separate building that we bought from a business that had gone under a few years ago, and it will now actually house our wine making facility in the front. We start producing. Well, we're already in the process of producing wine. We'll start packaging wine here at the beginning of May, and start distributing that sometime middle May, hopefully.
Ryan, this is Brian Freeman. I'd be interested in hearing from you about a lot of changes have taken place in the last 10 years with Odell's since you've been there.
I thought you were going to say 10 days, because that's true too.
that we'll too. We'll get there. But I'm just curious as to what, how have you felt? You've seen it obviously probably from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Being part of the family. And the changes have been big in the last, really 5 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. Talk about that a little bit and tell us how you're holding on to the core and what you guys believe in.
Well, we've changed, I think, a lot of ways. I can kind of go backwards, I think, which might be best. We've recently, the 3 founders retired. They still retain 10% apiece as far as ownership goes. They sold 51% to 3 of our senior managers, 2 of which have been with the brewery basically since day one. And then our CFO, who joined us, I think, 6-7 years ago. With that process, they've obviously been slowly transitioning leadership roles to the rest of us as coworkers and now co-owners. So the other 19% has been sold to us as an employee group through an ESOP. Which has been a huge part of our culture, always feeling that ownership has been super important to us. And now it's a real thing. We've become, I think in the last 10 years, way more data driven, where I think, you could rely on being at the right place at the right time for a long time in the brewing industry, because there wasn't that much competition. It's become a lot more targeted and focused, and you have to be a lot smarter and work really closely with your distributor partners to make sure that they understand what your goals are and what your focus brands are. And then obviously with consumers wanting to change what they drink every couple of days, it seems, we got to try to keep up with that through innovation.
I thought everybody just wanted 90 shilling and that was it. We just call it quits there.
What's really interesting actually about this most recent shakeup over the last 3 or 4 weeks is we've seen a resurgence of IPA and 90 shilling in a very noticeable way.
So we're going to call that comfort beer.
I think that's what it is. I think it's the familiarity is comfortable for people, and it's interesting to see, and we'll see how far it goes. But it's been really cool. I mean, we're thankful that we have those flagship brands or whatever you want to call them to rely on, because I think it's something that.
Well, Ryan, you just talked about wine. So it sounds like you guys are shifting a little bit. What else are you guys, what are the innovations that you all are doing right now?
We've obviously lots of innovations in beer. You guys are probably familiar with those. We've had a low calorie IPA come out recently. We've got a grapefruit wit that we just released. Recently, we've got a couple of seasonal lines that we change up brands every 1 or 2 years, depending on how well they perform. The wine project is something that's been, we've been talking about it for a couple of years, I guess. And we decided to go full steam ahead, I think, as the seltzer craze started to grow, and we decided that we didn't really want to jump into that world. We decided we wanted to differentiate instead of what we consider potentially being a race to the bottom in the seltzer world as far as pricing goes, entering an area wine that doesn't necessarily have that same price point issue. We're hoping. We're doing 375 milliliter cans, so a little larger than a 12 ounce. And we're doing 4 varieties, a little bit higher price point than people are used to, I think, in cans, but we're hoping to kind of bridge that gap between, a bottle, half bottle, if you will, in that can format to those the larger, I guess, the 750.
Instead of saying how's it selling, how's it being received?
So far from the social media posts that we've, it's kind of the gauge that we have. We're only going to distribute it in Colorado. So we've talked to our distributor here. They're excited about it. The social media response has been pretty positive. The friends of mine who I know that don't drink as much beer as they used to, it's been really positive. So hopefully, anecdotally, that expands to some sales.
I think it will, especially if you're out there smiling and showing it, folks.
Yeah, we've figured this out. So we will have, I think, the largest wine sales team in the state of Colorado for any brand. Most wine brands only have a couple of sales folks that are actually committed to just that brand.
In Colorado?
Yeah, in most states. And so we'll have 9 of us outside of Larimer County, and then the whole wholesale team up there. So
what's your strategy with that, Ryan?
All right. So now that was pre-coronavirus. Yep. Now let's jump into post-coronavirus or post. I'd love to be in post, but current coronavirus. What are you doing with the brewery right now? I'm sure you're still producing, but the facility has probably made some revisions.
Yeah, so both of our tap rooms are closed, obviously. We're not doing any to-go beer as of right now. That could change. We're investigating some potential options there. Production is still going. Obviously, we've shifted from any draft to no draft. All of what we're producing now and sending out is bottles and cans. And the volume has slowed down, compared to a year ago, but we're hanging on. I think that, as I mentioned before, there's that familiarity with a lot of our brands, and so people are still drinking them, which is positive. But it's been interesting. We have not needed to lay anybody off. We've shifted some people's responsibilities a tad. The folks in our tap room are helping out with stocking cooler shelves at liquor stores and grocery stores. And that's for both tap rooms. So we've got some extra help out on the streets, which is actually kind of nice. Trying to keep everybody safe, though, as this progresses. That may change as well.
Leaning heavily on retail.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we have at this point. There are some to-go. I'm sure you guys have seen. There's some places, bars that are doing to-go beer, but it's really not the same type of volume that we saw when, obviously you'd have a packed bar and selling pints at a time that way.
Could you get a keg into someone's hands if they wanted it?
Yeah, we're working with our main distributor here in Colorado to offer some lower priced kegs to off-premise liquor stores, retailers, in hopes that people might take a keg home for their kegerator. I know we've seen some sales there, but again, it's not the volume, that we were selling at Pepsi Center and Dick's Sporting Goods and all of these larger venues that we are pretty well represented.
Anything that you guys are doing as an initiative or putting out there in the community to gather people together, or?
That's actually something that we've been talking about a lot. And actually part of the reason why I got to jump off in 10 minutes, we're having a afternoon powwow with our marketing team to talk about how to engage our fans and engage the community. And so we'll see. I think there's probably some ideas about what we can get into.
Well, do you mind if we start here? I mean, you got 10-minute jump on it. Let's just get you prepared for this next meeting.
Sure. I have no ideas.
You have no ideas? Well, luckily you're in the right spot.
Yeah, right. No, I think, are there, do you have ideas?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people are doing the virtual type of thing, right? They're using either their distilleries or their breweries to put out education or fun stuff. Are you doing anything inside of that ghost town of a tap room right now to put out some fun educational things for social media?
We've been avoiding the brewery pretty heavily to try to make sure that everybody that needs to be there is healthy. And so we haven't done a lot of that, and I think that's what our sales team wants to see. Not necessarily making light of the situation or being socially irresponsible, but just trying to engage and trying to reassure people that we're still here and we're still supporting our communities. A lot of the charitable support that we do are actually through our tap rooms. And so in Fort Collins, all the tips that are gathered in a month's period goes to a specific charity. So obviously that has gone away. And so I think that we do need to remind people that we're still committed to those charities, whatever they might be.
What are you putting on your social media right now?
We have hardly anything since this is all started. There's one post that and again, this is not my territory, but
sure.
We've done one about how we've got our production facility still running like crazy, and it was kind of a thanks to all the folks that work in production up in Fort Collins, and that's about it.
How about folks that are out there that can submit stuff to you? I know the roots from Doug, home brewing was really the passion. Is there a way to get back to the roots of home brewing and that passion, or flavors, or your favorite Odell beer?
That's a really good idea. I think it would be kind of cool, and we've never really done it. And maybe this is something that we could suggest today. So thank you for the brainstorming idea. But perhaps sending out some clone recipes for home brewers and
love it.
There you go. Maybe we could do some of our instead of our current beers, because again, we still want people to go buy our beers. But maybe we do some of the ones that we've discontinued. Our Cutthroat Porter and Levity Amber are two recent ones that I'm sure we could share the recipe and ask people to try to make it.
That would be so interesting. And back to basics is kind of like the overall theme that you should go with, and then tie into that home brewing thing too. I also think it's like a lot of folks, and I look at breweries as far as supporting your brewery, but if you have a lot of swag like t-shirts and hats that you could produce that could jump back to a charitable organization right now, maybe supporting restaurants wise, if folks were to pick up that swag somehow and get it delivered to them and represent and show themselves in that swag in front of, maybe their favorite restaurant that they're doing pickup from or something like that.
That's a really good idea. And I think we've seen a few examples out there about how different breweries are supporting the food and beverage people that have obviously lost their jobs or have been furloughed or whatever the case may be, and obviously the restaurants that are suffering right now. And that's one of the things that our sales team really wants to push is like, hey, let's promote just in general the places that are staying open to provide to-go food, because again, like our beer may be comforting in that familiarity, so will somebody's favorite sandwich from their favorite bar or restaurant.
Maybe reach out to some of your favorite restaurant accounts and see if there's some way that you can include your beer with something in takeout. And again, just brainstorming here. But
Greg, I got an idea for you.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. How about this? There's this organization called Colorado.
Can you sit down?
I'm looking to read your writing there. It's the Colorado Adams organization.
Oh yeah.
Right. So we
Adam
just
Schlegel
we
just had
on someone with the Colorado Resort.
Yeah, I wrote. Where was my notes here?
It was right there on the right there.
I don't think I wrote it down there.
Here it is.
Colorado Restaurant Response.org.
Colorado Restaurant Response.org. Now, Ryan, what if you guys did a big drive on gift cards and gave a percentage to the Colorado Restaurant response group? That would be a way that you could cover both of those things with one foul swoop, because you'd be able to give back to the restaurants that you're working with, as well as generate some future revenues for the brewery.
There's something there with this organization. We'll give you the details on these guys. I think that
that'd be great.
Combining forces is always cool with that thing. And I think that right now, since food service is broken, with restaurants being down right now and obviously not being able to use their dining rooms, that it strikes me as that you're going to get a big rush on orders when it comes back to fruition.
Yeah, we're hoping so. I think everybody's hoping so.
Yeah, no, I think you will. So how can you make that seamless and still stay involved with the restaurants to where they have that good feeling inside of them? I think that would be one of the initiatives that should be on the forefront, is just having that helpful presence with restaurants right now. Yeah,
and we're still our reps are still out there, and they know which of our our supporters, I guess you could say, are still doing some to-go stuff. And so I know we've been grabbing some beer and dropping off some a few bottles here and there, a few cans here and there for people, knowing that that they're working hard to try to stay afloat.
I love that you guys, number one, you can be assured that the facility is buttoned up and they're doing every precaution that they can take to make sure that they're bottling the safest beer that you possibly can have. That's fantastic. I understand the pivot point, with a lot of the smaller breweries, they're just hoping people come by the brewery and pick up some beer curbside, and some people are delivering it as well. I know you want to keep that chain for retail flowing, and at the same time, you want to be able to have good relationships with your restaurants.
Absolutely.
So hopefully that sentiment can go into your meeting here, and we'll let you go like a couple minutes early so that you can get all this stuff written down, Ryan.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
What a pleasure catching up with you today, and one of our favorite breweries here in Colorado. There you are, and we can't wait to be back up there and have that sense of community again, and just sit back and sit outside and crack open a beer and just do it.
That's great. Yeah, thanks again for having me on, and we'll have to do it in person.
Oh, it'll happen for sure. Stay safe, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
You bet. That was cool. Rebecca Berry's here. She's around the corner. She's been doing some good stuff out in the community. Do you have another microphone, Jay, that you can plug into there?
No, but she can have mine.
She can have yours. She's gonna, I'm sure.
The roving Rebecca.
The roving Rebecca. I like that. The roving Rebecca.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired.
What have you been up to?
I have been at about 9 different locations today. So
9? I like the Brews Beers hat.
Thank you. Ryan has your black hat, but he couldn't find your original one, so you have a new one.
Are you kidding me? That's
we each
great.
have a can of the COVID 2020 beer that's specialty made, and then a couple shirts from Colorado Bistro. But I stopped at Italco this morning and got their new coffee box for $50. It's got 2 pounds of coffee. I can't remember how many ounces of milk, syrup and bars and all kinds of good stuff. I picked up merchandise from Crush, got their gluten-free pizza, which was amazing. Merchandise from Brews, merchandise from Colorado Bistro, from Bacon Social. I sent Andy on a mission to Deviation. So
I feel like I haven't been doing anything today.
I was able to get the Cambro stuff over to Proud Souls. So we got a nice video from those guys, as well as Blackbird. So just trying to give back to the community today. We will be kicking off next week, most likely on Wednesday. I'll be at Levers on Tuesday organizing all of the retail with Jen. So we'll have more marketing information.
I wish everybody tuned in and knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Levers Local 4 has stepped up and given a space to Rebecca Berry, who's putting together a section of apparel. Right?
That's correct.
Talk about what that is, and then we'll talk about what's there and when they can expect it.
Yeah, great. So we are taking merchandise that restaurants are sitting on that can be used as revenue back into their organization for their staff, to keep the lights on, to just really get something moving. We are then going to put it in a merchandise area in Levers, and it'll be basically a price line, but donation based also. It's all cash. They do have an ATM on site. We have everything from mugs, rocks, glasses, hats, sweatshirts, T-shirts.
Oh, well, you took it a step further.
Oh, yeah. Well, when we went to cash, we didn't have to do all the SKUs. So we've got a lot of opportunity to give back to these restaurants.
Yeah. So
exciting.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, I will have a confirmed day for you on Tuesday. We're hoping for Wednesday to have everything up and open that to the public. There will not be any trying on of anything. And as I said, it's cash only, please. We want to ensure that we can just get this flowing and get merchandise in and out. But there's some cool stuff. The Bacon Social stuff is cool. Crush. I do have a Cambro giveaway for an owner operator, whoever who's doing delivery newly. If you can guess who my first crush was, first name only.
Oh, your personal first crush?
My personal first.
How could anybody guess
Throw
that?
a name.
Bill.
You got to be more creative.
Really? All right.
But yeah, so it's going to be good. We'll have more information for you guys. Next
Gustavo.
week. I wish.
You wish?
Okay, I'll give you. I'm a kid. I was born in the early '80s.
Okay.
So think of some of the shows that were on around then.
Oh, really? JR.
No.
No.
And you don't win anything. What do you get? You don't get anything out of this.
He just gets to ruin it for everybody else.
Right, exactly, Brian.
Do you have a guess, Brian? I mean, that's pretty ambiguous.
Aaron.
Nope.
Aaron. In the 80s.
Just ping on the Facebook chat if somebody gets it. I'll keep an eye out.
It's Dawson's Creek, man. Come on, you know it.
That was
That's
like
what
the
she grew up with.
2000s.
Oh, maybe it is, though, like Dylan or something like that.
Oh, I did love him, but that was not my actual real.
Oh,
crush.
what is she talking? 90210 now?
No, I'm talking real names, but they're. You're ruining it for everybody else.
Nobody's going to do this.
Camera.
Nobody's just going to throw out an erroneous name for Rebecca.
So you never know. Nope, Kevin, like Kevin from the Wonder Years.
Okay.
So,
right.
Anyways, get your shirts.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Well,
There's 7 degrees. We're all tied.
6. Yeah. The crush shirts are really cute. They say my first crush is, and then you can fill it in. It's awesome. So give back to the community, shop locally, and continue to just reach out and let us know how we can help your organization.
Yeah. What else are you doing?
Oh God, what am I not doing? I had a project come in that I can't really get into detail until we work through my marketing team at Hot Schedules.
Enough said.
But it's going to be very beneficial for local restaurants.
All right.
So.
From Hot Schedules.
Yeah.
Hot Schedules. Talk about Hot Schedules real quick.
Yeah, Hot Schedules now powered by Fourth. We are the only end-to-end solution in the industry. That means that we can do all of your recruiting, applicant tracking, onboarding, and it's all electronic. We do all your payroll, file taxes. The most important piece right now is your state unemployment tax rates. We're able to actually have some cost control over those because of our buying power, along with insurance rates, workers' comp rates, things like that. But you know us as the scheduling company, we do so much more than that. So we've got you covered.
Take full advantage of that.
Please do.
Rebecca.berry@fourth.com. Boy, missed you.
Missed you guys, but it's been good. We are just
you're doing it.
Got stuff rocking and rolling.
What our intentions are to have Rebecca Berry kind of the woman on the street, and she's going to go around and get some videos and check in live with us every so often too, and just keep the ball rolling down the road
and keep it safe. I had gloves in my car today. I actually have Lysol that I was spraying the boxes. As I
see how you keep it safe.
Yeah,
every 4 minutes with the hand sanitizer.
But I want to make sure that the retail that I'm picking up and that I'm bringing to the grocery store also is clean. So that it's been
leave it out
clean.
in the sun for 3 days, Rebecca.
Exactly, and then the squirrels eat it. I don't know.
Yeah, because we have so much sun right now, Greg. It's been a wonderful sunny day.
2 days in a row, right, Brian?
Dr. Sara Metz is on here, and she knows how weird Brian's acting right now. She says, "Is Brian holding his breath?" I don't know. All right. Yes, you're right, Dr. Sara Metz. You can tell. She can feel it. Standing by right now for Chef Noah. I think he's right there. Where he is? I know where he is, inside of Beasts and Brews. I can't hear him. Can you hear us? Nope. Can't hear us. The video's perfect. I can tell you that. But I don't think that he can hear us. Okay, as he does that, let's do this, Jay. Aspen Baking Company. What do you think? Can you do that?
Yeah, Aspen Baking Company. AspenBaking.com is where you go to find delicious bread, delicious boxed lunches, but you won't find any
all right, start over.
Or
I need you to just pump this up like 10 notches at your favorite. You love bread, Jay.
Hey, Chef Noah, do me a favor. I know, but I'd also like to get Noah's sound here. So, Chef Noah, we can't hear you. Do me a favor and exit the room and come back in. And if that still doesn't work, then I'm going to ask you to restart your phone.
You look good, though, man. If you can hear us, you look great.
Yeah.
So we just need some audio now. Restart your phone. Come on back in. And in the meantime and in between time, Aspen Baking Company, your favorite stuff. Breads, man. What do you got?
I'm a bread guy. I live and die for bread. And that being said, nobody does it better than Aspen Baking. AspenBaking.com. I implore you to go to AspenBaking.com and buy all the bread that you can physically consume in a week. You don't want to go more than a week out because they bake it fresh every single day. So do that and do it at AspenBaking.com.
Yeah, do that. There he is. We can hear him too.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to give this a shot because last time you schooled me on it and you made it really easy. But it's Chef Noah Siebenaller.
Siebenaller, that's right.
Did I get that right, man?
You sure did.
That's a 1 in a million chance right there. It's Chef Noah Siebenaller joins us at Beasts and Brews. Brian, you remember going down to Beasts and Brews? You do? Hold on just a second. Jay's going to get that microphone there. So this, it saddens me when we tune in to chefs all over and they're in their kitchens and there's like 1 or 2 people, but the dining rooms are empty, obviously, and it's just heartbreaking seeing these places empty.
That's for sure.
That's faux show. Okay, so Chef, take 30 seconds, talk about yourself, then talk about Beast and Brews, and we'll dig in.
All right, so Chef Noah Siebenaller, like you said, Beast and Brews, executive chef and general manager. Our place is the largest self-pouring tap house in Colorado, one of the largest in the country. But unfortunately, it is quite empty in here, as you can see. I've got 100 taps of craft beer just waiting to be used, and nobody can use it right now.
Well, hey, tell me, when the sun goes down, being the GM and executive chef, you run around in there and sip off every one of those beers, don't you?
But you got to keep the lines flowing somehow.
I like your style. When did you get the GM hat, man?
So I've been operating as an executive chef and GM since day one. Obviously, being chef, that's my primary function, but being GM, you've got to take care of the restaurant as well. So.
A lot of good food comes out of that kitchen.
That's right.
You guys, you love scratch recipes. You love sourcing, putting together products and dishes and meals. Are you doing that for folks right now on a takeout and delivery basis?
We are. So we shifted track super quick overnight. Essentially, the shutdown of in-dining happened on Monday night, effective Tuesday morning. So, which was St. Patty's Day, if I remember correctly. So we came in and we, immediately threw together our St. Patty's Day menu, made it available online. And I created a bunch of family meals to go right away, as well as trying to keep as much of my normal menu available as possible, because we do have a lot of regulars, and this neighborhood up here where we're at just doesn't have a lot of options also. So I want to be able to offer as much as possible to the guests while still keeping it simple for us.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to lose a customer either because you're putting something out there that doesn't travel well.
Exactly.
Well, you got. It's kind of like, who do you have working back there today?
So I've got my kitchen manager Ryan here with me, and one of my servers here as well, who's handling the curbside and deliveries.
All right, now we get into the not so fun stuff. What did you have to do as far as employees, with furloughs and who were you able to retain, and what does that look like? Hi, Rebecca.
So right now it's myself, one kitchen employee, and one front of house employee, and everybody else unfortunately has been furloughed and laid off for the time being.
In the hopes to bring back the full staff?
Absolutely. Everybody that has been laid off is more than welcome to come back. And it's going to be interesting when this is all over. There's going to be a lot of there's going to be a new talent pool, I think, within our industry, just based on people that don't maybe want to go back to where they were or where they were isn't going to reopen. So there's going to be a lot of competition out there.
Yeah, the talent pool out there right now is probably at an all-time high. And it's an interesting thing that we're seeing, Brian. Brian, do you remember coming down there and to bring him down to the wheel? There's a lot of background noise in the kitchen there.
Let me turn my hoods off real quick. It might be.
No, I don't want you to have to do anything different there. Yeah, I think we're fine. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I was going to ask how the impact of and what is the military doing across the street, because I got to believe at Beasts and Brews they have a pretty big military contingent of supporters.
So yeah, that's for those of you that have been down here, the academy is directly across the highway from us, and that is a big portion of our clientele and our business. They sent home 3,000 of their 4,000 students, which is a big impact on us right away. And then the other 1,000 students were essentially on lockdown until this last Tuesday night. They weren't allowed to leave the camp at all, even for to-go food. So we've had a few individuals who actually ordered family meal kits to take and deliver to the cadets at the academy. And then since they've been cleared and released to start leaving post for meals, that will hopefully pick up a little bit for us as well.
It's good to have that support. You've been open for a cup of coffee, I'd say, but midsummer, when did you open up?
May 20th will be our 1 year.
Man, May last year. Wow, time does fly.
Yeah,
we need it to fly right now. We need time to go.
I'd be curious about though. They ran an aggressive beer program. Remember that, Greg?
Very aggressive.
How is that going for you guys? How is that working out?
It's good. So all of our beers, we do have 100 lines, and all of our products. One of my rules is it has to be from Colorado. So I don't bring in the big national breweries. We have so many great local Colorado beers and breweries. We try to support everybody that we can. So it's constantly rotating. I've got a couple of beers from our local Colorado Springs breweries that we call our flagships, and it's their flagships that they have in their breweries at all times, so that our guests have 5 or 10 different lines here that are constant, while the others are continually changing.
And the self-serve is an interesting thing. Is the innovation that you have there at Beasts and Brews, Colorado Springs, talking to Chef Noah Siebenaller right now. The amount of beers and being able to pour themselves and being down right now, is that a struggle that you're trying to overcome? Those, because I can help with that. I can for
so thankfully the governor made the changes to the emergency laws allowing us to offer takeout alcohol. One thing with us trying to reduce the exposure for everything in our business as well, we have eliminated the self-pouring aspect, and if a guest does want alcohol to go, we will fill it for them. They just have to jump on our beer list at untapped.com, let us know which one they want, and we'll definitely fill up a container for them.
No kidding, that's fantastic. That's a great thing. Maybe we'll have them take us over there.
So are you still selling it by the ounce, though? Is that how you're doing it? Are you filling other people's containers for them, or how does that go?
We are. We're filling other people's containers, and if someone absolutely wants to do it by the ounce, we will. But we're recommending, mason jars or any, the way the rule is written, any sealable container. So honestly, we're using deli cups too. It's got a lid. As long as it's got a lid, it can be sealed. We can use it.
Huh. That's interesting. Boy, it's the Wild West right now, isn't it?
Absolutely is.
Jay?
Hey, Chef, how you doing, brother?
Good, you?
Not too bad. Hey, listen, man, I want to ask, as a bartender, for many years, have you had anybody freak out about foam coming out of the tap when they're trying to pour their own beer and they're insistent on that there's something wrong with that beer?
You know the answer to that, don't you? Of course.
I keep seeing, I keep seeing the A+ logo pop up behind Greg back there, and Jeff Rourke from A+ built our draft system. So he and I talk about this and laugh about it all the time. Our guests come in, and it's funny because everybody that walks through the door is their own bartender, and the past bartenders seem to be the worst ones, or the guests that are their bartenders at home with their kegerators. Like, well, I've got a kegerator at home and I know how to pour beer. It's just something wrong with the system. Yeah, the first time I told Jeff Rourke that something was wrong with the system, I thought he wanted to punch me in the face.
I'll say this, and if you're somebody who's not in the service industry, and I've been in it for 30 years. Here's the thing: you're absolutely right. The service industry people, when there's a problem, and if the first words out of their mouth to me are "I'm a bartender," or "I was a bartender," or "I'm a server," or "I was a server," then the first thought that pops into my mind is then you should shut your mouth and know that you shouldn't tell me that because I don't care. I don't care if you were a server. I don't care if you were a bartender. Put your shoes back on. Put your pants back on, and get the hell out of the bar. So, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I've never been a bartender before, and I tell that to our guests all the time that are complaining about the foam. And I tell them, I said, well, look, I can show you. I've personally poured every 100 line of the 100 lines in here. I've never been a bartender, and I can pour you a perfect pour 99% of the time. That 1% of the time, there is an issue with the keg or with the line, and I'm going to go find out what it is and get it fixed. So I had a girl recently, right before the shutdown, who was a bartender, and I schooled her on the little 5-ounce tasting glass, and she looks at me and she says, God, I'm a little embarrassed now.
I always get cut off on your system.
That's because it cuts you off based on your age, Greg.
Is that you'd think I'd get more than age and weight. Right. I should just keep pouring until it goes. It's an interesting time that we're living in, and nobody's having fun right now. But creativity and innovation, it's all-time high. What are you guys doing to pivot, create new things? And is there any innovation that you're seeing right now?
There is. Like today I just finalized my Easter menus and threw it up online. Thankfully, we have a great partner with our POS with Toast. So their online ordering platform is absolutely amazing right now. It's honestly been a lifesaver. So it's allowing us to pivot towards that part of business that we've never utilized before, and something that we're going to look at keeping once this is all over and we're back to normal. So I'm using the time to test out some new menu items that I want to. I was planning on releasing a new menu next month, but now's the time to test it out and test it on our current clientele and see what makes the cut for next whenever we reopen.
Lay it on us. What do you got going? The new menu.
So I'm looking at a lot of some dry aged stuff, some more smoked meats, a few different entrees. We're looking at doing some braised cheeks with white cheddar grits and wilted greens. Just trying to utilize more parts of the animals other than just steaks, if you will. With the name of Beasts and Brews. We definitely have the meats, but I want to utilize more parts of the animal on a regular basis instead of just specials and whatnot.
I've been blown away by your talents and skills. I'm actually probably one of the most undersung chefs that I know of. Brian, would you concur?
Yes, definitely. I was curious. So, Noah, what are you doing? What are you seeing innovative in meat? Because meat innovation has been a little stagnant as of recently. And I'm curious if you're looking at doing anything on that forefront.
Sorry, you're cutting out a little bit. Innovative on the meat side of things?
Yes, exactly. I mean, I think that there's, chefs over the last few years have been really trying to do different things. You look at Gannett out in Chicago and utilizing more of the aromatics in his food and realizing how all of our senses are tied together. What are people looking at that in the meat side of things? The innovation I saw a couple years ago, the tomahawk steak has been a big thing the last few years, but that's not really innovative in my eyes. I mean, it's more of the big in your face kind of bold movement. But where could some innovations be on the meat? I mean, like sous videing, different types of smoking, those types of things.
Absolutely. So I actually sous vide all of our steaks here in house. They're sous vide prior to service, and then they're reverse seared and cast iron. What would you say is one of the most underutilized cuts of meat that generally just on the cow specifically, what would you say just gets thrown away most of the time, even at the processing facility?
I got to go skirt, hangers, flanks,
cheek.
Wow. So I've got cheeks and I got skirts in house, but I was going for tongue.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you make a tongue taste
So-
good, chef?
Oh man, I almost
So
said
my pastrami is actually made out of tongue.
Really?
Nice. Are you doing all local meat on that tongue?
We are. Yep. So it's hard to get a lot of it from the same supplier just because, like I said, everybody throws it all out. But we're using it from a few different sources. I'm reaching into the bucket here just to grab one real quick. But we're making it all in-house. We brine it, we cure it, we smoke it, we steam it, and we slice it. It goes on to a couple different items. But my pastrami Reuben with our house fermented purple sauerkraut is one of our most popular items.
Partnerships have been always very important to you in sourcing. How's that been able to hold up through this downtime, I would say?
Oh, it's difficult because losing 80% of your business overnight is not just us; it's all of our partners as well. There's a specific beef supplier that I was talking with. We haven't personally gotten to bring their products in yet, but I was looking forward to bring it in. They're sitting on over 10,000 pounds of beef right now, just because the demand for their supply has gone down. So
I think I even know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean
with an S and then with a B, or is it?
Yeah,
FB. Yeah.
I
want to help her out. It's a her.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I know who it is. Damn, that breaks my heart. Because that
really does.
That's good product. And I don't even think that she'd mind if we said it's Elin at Sangria's Best.
That's right. Elin and I have worked together in the past, and I was looking forward to bringing her product in here to help move some of her product. But at the same time, right now, with the demand going down, it makes it tough on us too. I can't commit to bring in 1,000 pound of anything right now because I don't know how long it's going to take to move it. But on the flip side, it definitely does open up the possibility to create new partnerships with new vendors and suppliers moving forward once we get through this out of this and into our back to normal. Just because everybody's going to have products to move.
Mm-hmm. Do you do any fish?
I've got trout from Frontier Trout Ranch, Kermit. Yep. We've got salmon that we source from Seattle Fish. It's funny, someone commented on a post online a little while back saying that they thought I used canned salmon for my fish and chips. And it broke my heart and pissed me off at the same time because we bring in the whole salmon head on. We break it down daily and we cut it up for our fish and chips. We've got the best fish and chips in the state, in my opinion. And this guy accused me of using canned fucking salmon.
Oh man! Well, he doesn't know you very well, then, chef.
Right? That's exactly what my guest said too.
Yeah, if you know, that makes me laugh a little bit because I know your passion for just artesian scratch food.
That's right.
As we're moving forward, and I think the great questions, Brian, about the innovation and trying to at least further yourself as a chef. What strikes me is some of the best chefs around are doing the most basic prep work right now, and you go and order online and you pick it up, and there's chef handing it to you, whether it's Dana Rodriguez or Alex Seidel or Chef Noah here.
I'm making potato salad right now.
I bet you are. Take just a minute here. Take us down, and I want to see what you're preparing. Is there a way to do that, Chef, to position that down low? Oh,
There we
look
go.
at that. Oh,
Greg, it is sort of crazy though what you just said, that now's the time. If there was ever a time when you were going to get a true flavor from one of the Colorado chefs, now's the time you're going to get it. But it's in such it's
weird
such
time.
a weird time.
How do you celebrate
able
that
to
you
get-
had the chef hand you
your
the food that
yeah.
he
or
he
know
she
that the
made?
chef made it themselves.
Yeah.
So that's it's
Look
a
at him
hard thing.
humping it back and forth to the walk-in and the ingredients that he needs. And I'm telling you what, Beasts and Brews, you're having the opportunity to have a peek inside now, and kind of an eerie moment. Just quiet as hell at 3:54. You'd be getting ready for dinner service, and the staff would be getting ready to set people down, charge their beer cards up. It's just a fun environment, and you've got a great view, an unobstructed view that will never ever go away too, right? Because of that ravine.
That's right. Yeah, we've got the 80-foot ravine across the street from us, which will prevent anybody from building between us and our view of the Front Range and the Academy.
What would you like to say to your fellow service workers out there right now as you're trying to hang on and hold steady to get through to up here in Denver? It's day 19 out of 57 with 38 days to go before even the proposition of getting back into a dining room. What do you want to say to folks right now?
My heart breaks for everybody in our industry right now, but we're all looking forward to getting back to normal craziness, being in the weeds. I look forward to have being so 30-minute ticket times because we can't keep up, and I can't wait for everybody to get back to work and get their asses kicked again.
I never thought you'd miss that, huh, Chef?
That's right. I've been watching Brother Lux, his live streaming and videos, and I feel, it's probably been a minute other than his dinner since he's had to jump online, and me being GM, same thing. I miss being online. I miss being in my kitchen, and now I can't get out of it.
Yeah, you're going to be there for a little while longer. Hey, listen, we're there for you, and I can't wait to get back down there. Not only you got a full-service butcher counter, too. Is that empty right now?
Right.
Folks come get some cuts out of your counter?
So, thankfully, this has actually helped our butcher counter gain a little bit more traction and popularity within the community, because once the grocery stores started running out of stuff, people realized, hey, our local butcher shops have stuff. So I've got quite a bit in the butcher counter right now. I've got 120-day dry-aged ribeye. I've been selling a lot of dry-aged beef the last few weeks.
Boy, it's nice. That's how you can support these guys, and take full advantage. You got the beer, you got the great scratch food. The menu is online, I would assume, right?
It absolutely is.
Check out. It's probably abbreviated like everybody else's, and front and center.
Yep.
Yeah.
It sure is. beastandbrews.com. Everything's available. And like I said, I just got our Easter packages up there today, so people can start pre-ordering their Easter meals. I maxed it out at 10 people just because the CDC is not recommending gatherings over 10.
I promise you this, when you reopen the doors, we're going to be the first down there to support you, Noah.
Oh, yeah. We appreciate you guys.
Hey, Noah, on parting, I got one question for you. Who would you
Absolutely.
like to reach out to and give a shout out about one, whether it's a person, a group of people, someone in your industry, or maybe it's not? Is
A
there
person,
anyone
place, or thing.
that you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, goodness. It's hard to bring it down to one. Definitely my employees that are sitting at home during this quarantine time and not much to do. We can't wait to have everybody back. So definitely want to give a shout out to all of our employees from Beasts and Brews, as well as all of our vendor partners. We work with some great partners that are struggling through this with the rest of us, and I definitely appreciate every single one of them doing what they can for us right now as well.
can't wait to watch your career flourish even more than it is. Just truly a great chef. And Chef Noah Siebenaller. Starting to flow off the tongue, man. Nobody got my name right for a long time either, man. It's terrible. I'm going to change mine.
Greg Holler, right?
Thanks, Chef. You had to throw that one in there. Cool. We'll catch up soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.
There he is. Just a really all-around nice guy, talented as hell,
Yeah, I like that dude.
A lot, right?
Yeah. He knows what he's doing.
And he'll recharge my beer card a lot of times, too.
Well, there's that. I mean, I don't drink, obviously, but I'll tell you what, man. Did. Freeman knows, but technically, I mean, you can fathom it, Greg. But I'll tell you what, man. Being a server or a bartender, right? And I can't speak for other servers and bartenders, but I'm going to throw up the question and comment line because I would love for a server or bartender to just get my back on this in the sense of, I know what it's like, right? And a lot of times, this business can be miserable. I mean, it can. It could be fantastic and miserable, running parallel, just like any other job. But if you have a problem,
it's fed your love life for a long time.
Yeah, it has. But if you're a server or a bartender, right?
And speaking of that, is your love life
Can I just get this out? It's exactly the same. It's non-existent.
You just want people to text and say how angry they are at other people.
No.
That's all you ever try and do is to get people to jump on board at how angry you are.
That's not all I try to do, but I like because here's the thing.
Am I wrong, Brian?
AngryJ.com.
No, those things are there.
I wonder if that's there. I got to look.
But here's the thing. It's like, and I'll just get this off my chest, and then we're going to talk with Susanna and Lisa from Denver Feed Forward. Man, now I can't even concentrate.
No, basically, come on, 720-715-3311.
Yeah, it's up there.
Commiserate
but
with Jay.
But what I'm saying is that if you're a bartender or server Freeman, and you have a problem with your experience, whatever it is, you don't like the beer, you don't like the cocktail, you don't like the food, you don't like the French fries, you don't like don't start out the conversation with I'm a bartender or I'm a server. We don't want to hear that. We don't care. I mean, that's just the truth.
That doesn't qualify them?
No, it doesn't. If anything, it makes me think then you must not have done it for very long or be very good at it or know how annoying that is to start out the conversation with I'm a bartender and my old fashioned doesn't taste right. Just tell me your old fashioned doesn't taste right. You don't have to tell me you're a bartender. Just say it doesn't taste right. You want another one.
I love this. Well, but you know what? I think someone wants to qualify their comment, Jay. Is all they're trying to do. But, I say burn them down. Burn them down.
That's our text line, 720-715-3311. Joining us now, Denver Feed Forward, and Susanna Kantor, and Lisa Stites, I believe. Who's Susanna and who's Lisa?
I'm Susanna.
And I'm Lisa.
Susanna, do me a favor. Turn your phone sideways so it'll open up the full camera.
Okay. Is that better?
There we go. Now we're cooking with fire.
There it is. Ladies, I'm on your GoFundMe right now, and I'm just really thrilled because there's a lot of people asking for money out there right now. Truly are. But very few are doing it well and as organized as you guys. And I just want to give you the forum. First of all, just take a minute or so and talk about yourself. Susanna Kantor, talk about yourself and your background, if you would.
Okay, so I'm Susanna Kantor. I am a Stapleton resident for the last, 3.5 years or so. I'm a mom to 2 kids, and I work in the healthcare arena in clinical research. So when this all started to happen with the COVID infections starting to come to the U.S. and seeing the impact it was having on the healthcare friends that I have and seeing the impact on the local restaurant business, I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great to find a way to get local restaurant meals to all the people on the front lines? And so I was on Facebook one day and mentioned it, and Lisa responded that she had a friend that was already doing it in Kansas City. So we put it together here, just like that, like in a day. Yeah.
Lisa?
Yeah, so I'm Lisa. I guess, my husband's a physician. So, and I have a number of really good friends who are nurses and are going through a lot right now. So, it's kind of close to my heart in that way. And when I saw what Susanna posted, and I had seen what my friend had done in Kansas City, I was like, we've got to do this.
Guys, I'm looking right now as you have $16,675 raised. Yay.
Yay.
Right? Let's talk about how this actually works. Who's making the meals? How do you get it to them? And then what are the dollars going towards?
So the dollars are plain and simple going to pay the restaurants for the meals. That's it. At 100% of every penny raised is going to that exact cause. So how we're doing it is we've posted on Facebook, we've posted on Instagram. I think we've had random people sharing it on Nextdoor. But that was like our grassroots effort of getting it off the ground, just sharing it in our neighborhood pages. And slowly but surely, it's gotten out to more and more people around Denver. And it's been really exciting.
Yeah, in a time like this to where, again, I kind of did the setup of where everybody has a GoFundMe, everybody's asking for money, setting yourself apart. And obviously, you're doing great things, but how do you get that moving forward to where you're actually feeling good about it? And you probably check back on the page like, is anybody responding? That's like kind of fearful, right? It's like, oh my goodness, how's this going to be received? I mean, obviously, right now it's picking up steam, but just starting it out during this, what was the motivating factor, you guys?
I mean, I think what was really cool was within a couple of hours, we were raising thousands of dollars. So the very first kind of minutes it started rolling in, and people were so hungry to do something, and they were seeing people affected, friends and family members, either by working in the hospital or, restaurant owners and people who work at restaurants. So I think just everyone wanted to do something.
So you got that big breath of fresh air right at the beginning, huh? Saying, okay, we're on the right track with this thing. So you mentioned that restaurants are making the meals. Mm-hmm. Talk about the restaurants. Is it all restaurant? How does that work?
Well, we started out with some local ones that we knew people that worked in them, like Michi's is really close to the Stapleton community and does a lot in the Stapleton community. And then 5 Eggs Catering, they had already planned to go out to some hospitals. So we just supported what they already planned to do. And that was within like the first 2 days. Then we started reaching out to other restaurants that are local, the businesses at the Stanley Marketplace. We reached out to a few of those. We reached out to Stites, I guess you classify it as the bakery sandwich breakfast shop. They did a huge breakfast burrito order for us. And then now we just have groups contacting us. It's so amazing to open our email every day and say, hey, we're from such and such restaurant and we want help. So now it's just finding which hospitals need a meal on which day and getting the restaurant to cover that day. And it's amazing.
It's cool. You got a Facebook page here, Denver Feed It Forward. I'd encourage everybody to go to this page. You got great social media, and your Lowry Beer Garden delivered 100 meals to UC Health today. Hashtag Denver Feed It Forward, and it shows the meals being prepared and the folks getting them ready for distribution. I'd ask you how it's being received with the folks on the front line and our hospital workers, but I already know the answer, right? It's wonderful.
They love it. The cafeterias are closed down for safety reasons. And we've heard from healthcare workers that they're having a hard time finding meals to take to work. And so having a warm meal when you're stressed, you're doing even more than usual, and it's just tougher conditions. A warm meal goes a long way.
This is Brian. I've got a question for you in this regards, because one of the things I know that's hard with hospitals is ingredients and allergies and contaminants, other things like that. Is there anything that you all are having to do when you prepare the meals, or is there any special dietary needs that you're having to take into consideration as you're putting this together for the hospitals?
Well, because we're working with established restaurants, they already know which protocols they need to follow. And we do make requests like, can you provide some vegetarian meals, some gluten-free meals to accommodate the different dietary needs of the staff at the hospitals? Because, it's important. I studied nutrition also for a little bit, and to me, it's really important that everybody can get a meal that they need, not just have to eat something because it's available. So we are asking for gluten-free options and vegetarian options, vegan options, to accommodate all the different diets out there. And I just think that, if you're going to do something for someone, you should do it for everyone. So we are asking about that. And, they already have to follow those protocols. They know what they have to do in the restaurant business. So they're just doing that.
And some of the things that we are doing is, for instance, we have to do individually packaged for most places. So, just for safety, there are some changes that the restaurants maybe have to make if they didn't normally, when they were catering, do individually packaged.
How do folks receive the meals? Do they reach out to you, or how does that work, guys?
No, we reach out to them. They're too busy to reach out. There's usually a person in the command center at each hospital who's kind of coordinating the different meals that have been volunteered to the hospitals, at the hospitals at least. So we worked really hard in the beginning to make those initial contacts, and now we have point people. And they give us instructions to give to the delivery drivers of who to contact when they get there. And they come out with their gloves and their masks and their rolling carts, and they take the food in.
I bet you're trying to make sure that you get all of the hospitals and as many people engaged with you as you can. How are you going about that? Because sometimes you get, and I just ask that because I think you get stuck sometimes. You get to one place and it works, and you keep going down that easy path.
So we talk multiple times a day, but then there are also other groups in Colorado and Denver specifically that are doing the same thing as us. And so we're reaching out to them as well. And we have a spreadsheet with one of them with all of our different deliveries so that we can make sure that maybe some of the smaller hospitals get some love as well. And so we circle back and just try to make sure. I feel like Susanna, because she's worked in healthcare, is really sensitive to that, about making sure we get the night shift and, the lab and the people that maybe are the unsung heroes you don't always hear about.
That's great.
Yeah, healthcare and mom in her. Let's make sure everybody's eating.
Everybody has to eat.
Everybody
can't leave this table.
That's right. And you need that brain food, you guys. Just keep it going. How can people? I understand donations are fantastic and cash is king right now. But are there any other things that you would need? As far as I'm noticing here, you've got like Cliff Bars. People are donating other things there. Are you? Donations from folks that have prepackaged goods here, and I know there's a lot of great things here in Colorado.
So we reached out, like Bobo's Oat Bars in Boulder. We reached out to them because we heard from Presbyterian St. Luke that they were really looking for some healthy snack options. So we reached out to Bobo's, and they immediately sent them a huge shipment of snacks that should be arriving any day. And they also sent some to UC Health. And then we also was just thinking, snacks, let's also reach out to Cliff Bar. So we asked for big donations from them, just kind of for those in between meal times. And then other people have come to us with donations and said, how can I, just provide this? We're working with Minchie's yogurt, frozen yogurt right now on some sweet treats for people, and they're donating those all on their own.
I'm sure very appreciated. Okay, guys, I put a link to the GoFundMe page on our stream right now. And then the Facebook page that I was just on is real easy. You just search out, what is it again, you guys? Denver Feed It Forward?
Denver Feed It Forward. That's correct.
Perfect. I'd say good luck on this, but it seems like you're doing great and so needed, you guys. Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, and we think that we have at least, 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks that we need to keep going on this as we reach the peak. And, any funds that we have left over once things go back to our new normal, we'll use to buy gift cards or fund meals and other ways for our frontline workers, just to make sure that, after this, they're still recognized and they still feel like the community is supporting them.
Donations are coming in. It looks like $100, $20, $250, $100. Those are larger donations, but as these guys will probably tell you, anything helps.
$5 can buy a breakfast burrito for someone. So $5 is a big deal. You know, and 20, we can buy a couple of really delicious lunches from some amazing restaurants.
And these are the folks, I'm telling you, taking care of us so well right now. We need to take care of them. Great job, guys. We'll catch you down the road, and just keep going on. If there's anything we can do for you or spread the word, just let us know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's right.
Thank you.
Denver Feed It Forward and Susanna and Lisa. That was a cool interview because you look at folks that are in the community. These guys are doing it, and that's fantastic.
Well, I just like to see the hustle. You know, when people come up with an idea like that, and then they just implement it without just, you know, I've seen so many people. Ideas are like what? Ideas are like something on us.
Everyone has one.
Everyone has one,
Yeah,
but there's
it.
very few people that actually put it to action, and so it's always nice when you
and so many folks are, you know, right now suffering and asking for money that I like to see organizations like this that seemingly have it together and being effective right off the bat. You holding back a yawn there?
No, not at all.
Yes, you did. You chewed
Not
down
at
a
all.
yawn, Brian. The Spice Guy is still Colorado's favorite spice company. Hell, he might be America's favorite spice company by now. I know he's mine and Jay's, not just because we have delicious spices. San Pasquale, what do you think of the Spice Guy spices? Yes, San Pasquale testifies.
Spicy.
Spicy. What do? You just Google the Spice Guy. And check out the Won't Stay Down box. That's something that Zach's been offering right now in the Ultimate Quarantine Spice Kit. Obviously, the restaurant business is slow, but you can support the Spice Guy by shopping online. I'm sure he would appreciate it, but at the same time, you're getting some good spices.
Well, and if you're a restaurant, when you get back up and running, his spice program is incredible.
Yeah, if you're looking to either make a change or up your game, the Spice Guy. Standing by for 4:15 interview with Jay Johnson of Bear Creek Distillery. He's one of the best of all time.
He's such a nice guy.
Jay Johnson.
Well, so, but you brought up something, Greg, earlier that I think is interesting. I'd like to touch back on it, is the fact that while everyone is down, I think this is the time that you should really think about getting your lines and your beer lines cleaned.
Fine tune. Anything
getting
cleaned.
your establishment, do those repairs now. Bring the place up. Go through. You have time. Go through it with a fine-tooth comb right now.
I'm not so sure people have time quite. Maybe. I don't know. But I think it's getting close. It's like in about a week and a half. Because listen, the ramp-up period from, what is it, May 11th, when we're looking to that ramp-up date of May 11th, start time, it's a Monday. You want to be ready. You know, don't have your pants down. Yeah. Speaking of pants being down.
Hey, Jay Johnson, how are you?
Good. I just got my pants pulled up.
Good. Hey, do me a favor and turn your phone sideways. Open up that full camera for me.
How's that look?
There we go. Yeah, now we're cooking.
Hey, Jay Johnson, how much would it cost to get, you know, to do one of these?
Well,
get that beard off of you.
If we have to start wearing those darn masks, it's going to have to come off anyway, so I'll do it for free.
Do it for free, man. It's coming in nicely, man. You got a couple grays in there.
Yeah, this last year's been a little wild ride. So
I thought 2020 was going to be my year, man.
Oh, dude,
it was gravy, and now I'm wiping with a coffee filter.
Well, you're luckier than some, I guess.
Terrible, man. I guess so. Jay Johnson joins us, Bear Creek Distillery. One of our all-time favorites, and I think we're past the point as we're 19 days in right now, and of 57 and 38 to go before anybody's going to drink one of your delicious cocktails sitting inside of your tasting room. That doesn't mean you're not doing innovative things, but we'll just do the things. We haven't talked to you. Your reaction since all of this took place 19 days ago.
Wow. Just, I guess, a broad view. Personally, I liked watching my kids play sports than actually interacting with them. So that's been a change being home with them. Humor aside, it's been
that was very subtle and very that was very nice to say. I'm tired of my kids.
Well, it's
you know the nice way to say it.
Yeah,
they're like hobbits. They have 2 breakfasts. They have like 2 lunches.
Yeah.
there's dinner, there's late dinner, and then usually there's a mess for me to clean up in the morning. So
they're the ultimate unemployed. They're not looking for jobs. They're
No.
beggars. They like to eat a lot, and on dad's dime.
oh, they're pros. And like all the social norms, like everyone's just cursing, my 14-year-old asked me if she could have a mimosa last night with dinner, and I almost let her. It's slipping. Society's slipping.
Well, and it's funny is that it looks like you're relegated to be. It's like go outside, Dad. You don't even get to go inside, do you?
Well, you never know when there's like a fight might break out or something. So it's probably better for your broadcast this way.
I wouldn't be so sure.
How old are both of your kids? You said 14, but you have another one.
I have 3. My junior in college is home studying online, and then I have just turned 18 who will not be going to school for the rest of her senior year, and then my 14-year-old. Well, she turns 14 tomorrow.
What senior year? That's a big thing for kids. She doesn't get to. Are they doing a do-over next year? I mean, I know the answer to that. They're not, right?
Right, but the same group of kids was born right during 9/11. So, they were born in turmoil, and they're trying to get through what is some of my fondest memories. Growing up, senior year, and it's just it's muted, and my kids have been pretty good about staying home and abiding. My wife is a microbiologist, so she told me about 8 weeks ago. She said, "Let's go to the store," and I said, "Why?" And she's certainly not an alarmist by any rate. And she goes, "We're going to go buy water, toilet paper, candles. You're going to get bullets for your gun." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "This is the one." And I said, I don't call her bluff. So we went to the store, and it's just progressively every day gotten crazier and crazier. And, just to.
Hopefully you only needed the water so far.
What I'm trying to do is not get fat and not completely shred my liver. So I'm trying to do 100 push-ups a day and work out before I start drinking beer. So.
No, Bull, you're lying.
How's that
to
working
me.
out for you?
All right, drop and give me 20 right now, Johnson.
Right here?
Yeah, right there, man.
You think he's going to get 20?
3, 4, 5, 6,
3,
7.
4.
I've already got 80 today.
5.
Have you really?
Yes. I'm probably going to pass out.
Hold your breath while you do this.
All right.
Hey, and so listen, you are, and that's fantastic.
Well, but he just brought up something, Greg, that I think everyone
let's
should
see
listen
if he's
to.
out of breath. Hold on.
I'm good.
Oh,
yeah,
you're good. Okay.
But it's true that everyone. That's something and I'll say I've been coming home every day and enjoying taking a nice walk, and so I happen to live right on.
You told me last night you were drinking heavily.
I am definitely drinking after the walk. No, I'm following what Jay is doing. As I get home, I take a nice big walk, play with the dogs, and I stop by and see my kids because they're on the walk path that I do, and then I come home and unfortunately I've been hitting the hard kombucha like it's nobody's business. But I'll tell you, I've been going through. I've found like 7 different hard kombuchas so far. There's some good ones out there.
Yeah, and when he says hard kombucha, he means whiskey. I don't know whether you know that or not.
I do the secret language. Well, Greg, I thought you were a tequila guy.
I like
That's
tequila,
me. I'm
man.
a tequila guy, but yeah.
Listen, and here's the thing, and I don't know if I don't think I'm metabolizing whiskey very well right now.
You told me that last time we talked.
It's sending me into like a 2-day hangover of like I don't know who I am. Tequila just seems to be a little cleaner for me. I don't know what it is.
It has something to do with the cellulose breakdown. And I don't know much about agaves or tequilas, but
it has something to do with being 50.
From the grain, the cellulose breakdown, your body processes it easier.
I thought it just had something to do with my body doesn't move very well at this time, and if I was to be more active, that maybe it would go through me quicker. But it just seems to stay around.
Well, it's I moderately, but it really is important. Debo, Jeff, and I even our sales guys, our fitness and exercise is important, and we try to live that balance, that sort of a punishment reward situation. You do the bad stuff you don't want to do. You sweat, you get your mind right, and then you sort of reward yourself with whatever your vice is. So you try not to go off the rails too hard one way or the other.
I couldn't see. God would never let me own a distillery or anything like that. He just knows that would be the end of me. How are you not just this fall down, stumbling alcoholic?
Well, my thing is I'm the events guy, right? So I do most of our events and I talk to you guys, and I rarely drink while I'm working. Only because I've seen several representatives for distilleries, at these events. At the end of the event, they can't even talk, and I feel like it's important to be the best representative for our project that I can be. But I'll tell you what, when that festival's over and we walk over to the bar, we're going to have a shot of beer. But it's a balance. And to be completely honest, it was a balance you need to learn.
Yeah.
Because it's not all about having a party every day. It's a business, like the same business you run. There's things that have to get done. There's admin that has to be done. Toilets that need to be cleaned. It's not always fun and games, but we do have a good time.
Yeah, and it's picking and choosing your spots, and really internally, we've had conversations like, Greg, keep it cool while you're on the air. You don't need to go too far. And Jay can tell you right now, it's really weird, and it's just my personality. If I have one sip of booze or 1,000 sips of booze, I start to slur in some way. How would you explain that, Jay?
You
just know me, right?
I just know. And my buddy that came in here the other day, he's the same way, to where if he's got 2 beers or 2 drinks, well, no matter what it is, you can hear it instantly. Now he can,
and I'm fine.
And you can drink a lot, and the speech stays the same.
Go grab me a bottle of whiskey. I'll show you, Jay.
Demo, I love it.
Let me show you. No,
it's like it'll be like slightly slurred speech after 2 drinks, and then 12 drinks later, the speech is the same, and then it'll be like face plant out. But the voice sounded
it's so
the same.
fun though.
Well, but I think what Jay said,
that's why there's so many distilleries and breweries, and that's why so many babies and so many divorces.
But
because alcohol is great.
You're a product ambassador, though. Whether you're a brand or a product ambassador, and that's what Jay said. Is it's embarrassing sometimes when he sees it in the other reps, and I think that's important, because I think it's all about they always said don't get high on your own supply, right? That's.
But would the 25-year-old Jay Johnson conducted himself that way?
He would have been dead by 27.
So you didn't deserve it then either, then?
No,
right?
It's my wife jokes. I think it's funny. She probably doesn't. I told her if we hadn't gotten married and started having kids at a relatively young age, I wouldn't be here. I was such a good time, Charlie, and it was, but I was a lot of fun. I burned gas, baby. We had a good time.
Jay here, it's funny that you say that, because I see it the same way, where that's the difference between, somebody our age and who is you realize at a certain point you can't be that guy anymore. Now you have life and you have this, so you can't be that person. The people that are 40s and 50s and still living that life of the partying and the I don't have responsibility, like that shows and it comes through, and there's a big difference of human in that regard.
Agreed.
Well, and how are you showing up for your community? And I think
you
that's
want
a
one
bigger
guy
thing.
who kind of gets away with it. Jim Cook from Sam Adams, dude's toasted all the time, man. And it's like, okay, it's Jim Cook, Sam Adams.
Well, does this go into that conversation though that we had a few months ago, Greg, about the pirate, and where are we pirates or are we shepherds? Remember, this is a conversation that we had. That was a while back with the Little Rich, because Little Rich is that true shepherd, where he is constantly helping and giving. And as pirates, do we take away? And I would like to think not. I would like to think that you could find a balance between those two.
Did you know we were going to counsel you today?
No, is this like an intervention?
It is an intervention, Jay.
Thank you for showing up today.
Where's
very
the
interesting.
that's been following me around?
That's right. Your family's about to come out into the yard. This is your day, my friend.
It was all that damn mimosa, Jay. That
No,
damn
yes, right.
mimosa.
That's what set
Here's
the
the bad
authorities.
thing. Your wife is leaving you.
Okay.
Your business partners are done, and this is the worst
2020
day.
really sucks.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Bear Creek Distillery,
Yes,
man.
let's get on.
How many years now?
So,
5.
yeah, this 2020 will be our 6th year open to the public.
6?
6th.
Woo!
It's been that long since I've known you, dude. So,
Unbelievable.
6 years for that. We incorporated in 2012, so we've been on the project for 8 years, and then we had big plans this year. We've bought a new rack house back in July that is just
In the hood? In the neighborhood?
just down the street from us.
You cleared all the weed out of there, and then said, "Here we go. This is booze now."
We're taking over the weed real estate. So, and that's been a slow roll. Trying to get through the city on that, and that would basically quadruple our barrel capacity moving into 2021. So hopefully we can still get that done.
And allow you to stay at your location, too.
Sure. Our location at 1879, the tasting room and the distilling operation will be there. So
Finish that off, Jay, for the listeners. 1879.
South Tacoma Street.
South Tacoma. Thank you.
Thank you. Sweet place.
And that will always be sort of HQ, if you will. We'll have the spot right down the street. It's literally 2 doors down. And that's going to be barrel storage for us. And then, long-term plan, that little block of 1800 South Tacoma will be bigger and better every half decade or so. So we're in it for the long haul. This kind of monkey wrench things for everyone. Want to give a shout out to our friend Ryan Nagley and Kevin Galaba for doing the family meal.
Jay's about to correct you. Go ahead.
I didn't say anything, but if I was going to say something, I would say Galaba. Yeah. Hey, listen,
we
man,
did it for 2 years.
We did it for 2 years.
We just now figured out.
Here's how I do it.
He's such a nice guy.
I know.
Told you were mispronouncing it.
Yeah.
Every time I see Kevin, the first thing that pops into my head is the old video game Galaga. And
really?
Yeah, because that's how I remember how to say his name correctly. Galaba.
I do Gallagher.
Okay, well, yeah, man. I mean, whatever.
Or just Gal.
I think you can totally mess it up, and he still loves you. That's what the great thing about him is.
He is a great
You
guy.
can call him Galagabalaga.
Good shout-outs to those dudes.
Yeah, they're doing some good things, and this whole hand sanitizer thing it's become its own beast for distillers, and you had some guys right out of the gate that were sort of doing it cowboy style, basically giving people high proof alcohol to put on their hands. And so we kind of sat back and decided we were going to wait and see what the government's guidelines were going to be for that. So other things need to go in there: glycerol, hydrogen peroxide. You need to denature the alcohol, and essentially what by denaturing alcohol is you add agents in it to make it impossible for human consumption. So think of an isopropyl rubbing alcohol. They add agents to make that smell just so terrible that you can't, your palate can't take it.
I've known some guys.
In a pinch.
I've known some guys.
I'm curious, how many barrels are you up to?
Yeah.
So we haven't started putting any new barrels in the new facility. So we hover right around, I think the last hard count that we had that I was aware of, the number was 306. But those basically, a lot of those are 1 in, 1 out at this point. We're allocated on several of our products, our wheated bourbon, our rye whiskey, our cask strength rum. The one nice thing about this hibernation period is that'll give us a little bit of a head start on getting caught up on some of our barrels of our allocated stuff and lay that down. So I guess that's one blessing.
Yeah, that was going to be the next question is production. What are you doing as far as production right now?
The guys are still, Jeff and Dylan and Jake, they're still bottling most days, and then running batches. So that part of it hasn't changed. The major change for us is just we're not able to operate our tasting room like we normally would, and that's our bread and butter. That's a large percentage of our take-in is through the tasting room.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've really done a great job, Debo especially, cultivating talent that comes through, live music on the weekends. We've got our standard nights with skating and our snow. Sorry, my wolf's trying to. You want to say hi to my wolf?
Yes,
yeah,
we
let's
do.
see it.
Millie.
You're not in Kansas. You're not in Kansas anymore.
I've become that dad that didn't want a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my barnacle that's with me 24/7.
Goes with you everywhere.
She will not leave me alone.
What's her name?
Millie.
Millie.
Millie. Like
Millie with an
Millie
Millie.
Vanilli. Millie.
Yeah.
Sorry, Millie just knocked my. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah.
Millie.
Can you hear us? No.
Yeah, maybe not.
Jay.
What?
He's replugging back in.
Yeah.
Jay Johnson. Bear Creek Distillery, online with us, seeing if he can hear us. I know.
Little technical difficulties.
Can't hear us. No.
Doesn't look like it.
Exit out, and then come back in. I'm trying to exit out, close it. Yeah, he thought, hey, that was pretty good. However, I did. Oh no, he's turned it around to the other side. So we can hear him. He can't hear us. He's going to rejoin. I'm going to do this back. Rome sausage right now.
Yeah, do that.
And Rome sausage now offering home delivery, local artisan sausage and meatball bundles delivered to your door. Order online at romesausage.com. $60 bundles include 10 pounds for $60 of assorted awesomeness. Breakfast sausage, breakfast links, Italian meatballs. Jay, I'm doing a commercial real quick while you're putting that together. Can we hear you?
Yes,
okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
Italian meatballs, jalapeno, cheddar brats, bratwurst. You need this box. It's $60, man. 10 pounds of assorted awesomeness. Got everything you need from breakfast, lunch to dinner. Chicken, apple sausage, Italian sausage, green chili sausage, chorizo, hot Polish kielbasa. RomeSausage.com, 303-296-7663. You can order online or give them a call, 303-296-7663. Rome Sausage. What do you think? Are you eating good? Are you eating?
Me?
Are you eating at all?
Oh man, it's we've been doing all right. We did I did chicken parm last night with the creamy risotto. Tonight is French dips. So we've been doing all right. Kids aren't going to starve.
That's fantastic.
French dip's my jam, man.
Oh, me too. Back to Debo and how he's doing. So are you able to drinks to go?
No.
Or are you doing that or no? No.
We're not allowed. We could sell bottles. So
and why not?
Bottle sales. It's a food component. I mean, we obviously don't have any food in there. I think the Distillers Guild is working on an exemption during the quarantine to allow us to be able to sell batch cocktails.
Would you even want that? Would you even want that right now?
Yeah. No, I mean, that would give, because unfortunately we had to furlough some of our crew just because, we've got a bigger family to think of, and we're definitely going to get these guys back in as soon as we can, hopefully real soon. So that would give them something to do, with the amount of fresh produce and things that we use, and it would have to make sense for us to be able to make sure we're not, letting our perishables go to waste, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it does.
Jay here. Let me ask you this. So when you say you're not able to do the cocktails yet because of the food thing with, a restaurant having a different license. How does that translate into? We just had Balmer Peak Distillery on, and we were talking hand sanitizer, and he couldn't sell anything. Is that right? The Balmer Peak, he was like, we can't sell anything. We're working
except
on
bottles. I don't think he had the supply of bottles, which was interesting.
So he didn't have the physical glassware to put his spirits in?
Well, he couldn't do cocktails.
No. He
either.
just didn't have the inventory, from what it sounded like to me. But no, they can't do cocktails either. You guys, why not buy the bottles right now? You're pretty much stocked up on everything, right? I can just picture the bar inside of my head right now with all the bottles across the top. What's the hotness right now? What do people need to get in on?
Well, we coming into spring right now. That silver rum's a banger. You'll find it.
Don't say that, man. My mom is still thinking that you owe her a bottle of silver rum.
I'd give your mom 2 bottles of silver rum.
I don't know how that happened, but every time that she sees your face, it reminds her. And I'm like, Mom, I take it up with Jay.
I have a face that makes her want to drink.
Take it up with Jay. Show me the hat that you're wearing right now.
What do I have on?
Love it. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's all right. We can sell bottles. Or silver rum. Tell your mom. I'll get her helped out on that. Moving into springtime. Nice springtime cocktails. You'll find that on the shelf. It's priced the most affordable rum actually made here in Colorado on the shelf. It's the same price point.
Who are some of your major retail accounts?
Well, we're in about 700 statewide now, so you name it, you could find us pretty much wherever.
What?
Yeah. So Argonaut, Applejack.
Congratulations.
Total Wine. Thank you. It's been a long time coming, but we've got some dudes that are really hustling for us, and we've been able to saturate Colorado. And when we have a deeper well of matured whiskey, we're going to conquer more than just Colorado.
Man, oh man. I'm telling you what, I've seen this company grow. And what's really interesting is parallel to the Modern Eater, because the Modern Eater kind of started up the same time as your distillery.
Yeah.
Where did we go wrong over here?
What are you talking about? You guys, I saw you on TV looking all handsome the other night.
Jay, you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Jay and Greg, not so much you. So I watched you guys. Don't sell yourself short, because you've.
Yeah. Here comes our.
This is our
accolade.
life.
Yeah, here comes our compliment. That's how women compliment me too.
Can you cut that soundbite out for us?
Yeah, that's right. Hey, Jay Johnson, if you said kind words about us, can you just say them all over again?
Because we didn't get one of them.
Yeah.
Your phone is on the spritz.
That's the
I can't
universe.
remember what I was saying. No. You guys have done really well.
Just leave it there. It's like that was probably him to like.
He probably said something like, "If you guys want a case of whiskey apiece, just tell me right now. We're free, and we're going like, nah, we're good. What's up?
Yeah.
Thanks for talking."
Oh my goodness.
I was mentioning that you guys have. Look what you guys are doing. You're getting news coverage. You guys you used to have pretty much same stable of people that came through, and now it's a who's who. It's a menagerie of people in the booze and food game that come through. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you, Jay. We'll take the fleeting compliment, because we need it. But truly, watching the community grow, and we kind of just all have grown together, and it's a tight knit family. We're all in this together. We hear that a lot right now, being in this together. What's something that in closing? Is there anything that you want to say? I know that a lot of folks right now, there's a message, and you want to be heard. Give us something.
Yeah. Bear Creek will weather this storm. If there's anything we can do to help, we've always been community focused, and we give back to a lot of charities, and I know they're suffering right now. But when we get back on our feet and they get back on their feet, we'll be back with our tour certificates for their charities and donations and things like that. So on the flip side, we've always been the ones, the community that we all represent here, that give a lot. So we collectively, Bear Creek, we're doing okay, but collectively we need the support of the people, the good people here in Colorado.
A lot of good people here in Colorado.
Yeah.
So happy to be a part of just Denver and our community. Okay, Jay, let's bust inside, right? I mean, tell them, okay, I'm live, so don't say anything crazy, but I got to see inside what's happening in there.
Oh, my goodness.
Come on, man. Let's see something.
All right. We saw the wolf.
Right. Yep, we did.
All right. Well, I got a
All
nice
right.
view of the Rockies here at the backyard.
Yes, you do. Show us around.
All right. Let's see here.
Jay Johnson's home.
Let's see.
All right, everybody.
It's pretty quiet. Hopefully everybody has pants on.
Surrounded by ladies.
There's my...
I was wondering.
I got a lot of Colorado booze. Like this guy here, if you see that one on the shelf.
Get it?
Buy that one. Wait, hold on.
Let's see it. Yeah.
Let me set it down. This just isn't working out very well. The Yeti.
You can push the turnaround button on your camera, and we can get the full. Do you see that?
Easier, right?
Yeah, there we go. Yes, that's the Yeti.
If you can find one of those, there's still a few roaming out there. These are all my first batch bottles, so that's like our first batch of wheated bourbon.
Not even open yet.
No, I don't. Hopefully my kids don't throw a party one day and all these are empty when I come
Yeah,
home.
no kidding. They're filled with iced tea.
Jay, you and I are about the same age. We know each other's tricks. That's sort of the wall there for the kids. I'll show you my downstairs bar.
And Jay, as you're walking down there, who do you give a shout out to? Who is someone that you'd really like to just say thank you?
I would say I would definitely give a shout out to Litch from Breckenridge Distillery. He's sort of been my mentor, and if I ever have any questions about anything, he always takes my call. Ryan Nagley's sort of in that same vein.
I'm so into this right now.
Sort of come up through the game together. Let's see. We've got
some
kids' shadow boxes.
Hey, that's a nice basement, man.
Just redid it a few years back.
Yeah, Greg did not tell you that he is a voyeur in his other life.
Listen,
so this
I love
is
this.
very, very
This
exciting.
is fantastic.
Right now.
Let's see the bar. Oh, here it is.
There's my PBR. And then shout out to Michael Myers and Philip down at 291. Got
Love
some
those
good
guys.
Colorado hooch. So that's about it, guys.
I love it. I love how you support.
Thanks for my cribs. Thanks for coming to MPB Cribs.
That's right. Okay, now we're going to go to the bedroom, Jay. No.
Yes. Now we're taking our pants off. What?
Yeah. What stream is this again? We're live in the Ukraine.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I'll be live in the Ukraine.
We'll just call it Green Tube.
That's right. This is manlyguyswithbeards.com. Yeah. Okay, settling in. Jay, you're one of the best. I love you to death. I know everybody else here does too.
I'm the only weirdo that would walk through his house.
No, you'd be surprised. You're amongst good company of weirdos.
Well, now he's
That's
not
right.
amongst anything. So.
Thanks
for being on the show. Oh, I lost you. Oh, we lost you.
I love you, Jay. We'll see you down the road.
See you, pal.
Thank you, Jay.
Jay
Bye,
Johnson.
guys. Be safe.
446 in the Mile High City. Wow.
You know what that means.
It's Friday, right? Day 19 out of 57. I'm just waiting. Brian Freeman's going to go nuts here in the next few weeks. I know you are, aren't you?
I already have.
You have? You holding up? The doctor's coming on. Do you have questions for the doctor today?
I always have questions for everyone, man. Life is a big question.
Brews Beers. Oh, let's do this. Let me mention somebody else here. Shout out to all of our sponsors. We have a great team of sponsors. And A Plus Beverage Solutions, Ardent Mills, Aspen Baking Company, Brews Beers, Colorado Mills Sunflower Products, Meridium Spirits. Thank you, Meridium Spirits. We got to get that clock hanged up.
I know. Well,
That'd be hung up, but yes.
There's never any men around.
Hanged
Here.
up.
I don't think hanged.
Really?
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Encore Energy, Ewing Levitt, gluten-free things, growers organic. and the new company, right?
What Chefs Want.
What Chefs Want. Hot Schedules in Fort, Jefferson Farms, Proud Souls Barbecue and Provisions, Rocker Spirits, Element Knife Company, Elin Wenzel, and Element Knife Company. I'm going to ask the chef, do you like knives? Do you like knives, Doctor?
That's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful knife, isn't it?
That is
ElementKnifeCompany.com. Sweetest guy you'd ever meet. His name's Chef Elin Wenzel. And, you know, the entrepreneurial hustle where you give more away than you ever get back, and you do it forever and ever in hopes it'll pay off. This guy goes around while restaurants are shut down right now and sharpens their knives for them.
How cool is that?
Just the sweetest guy in the world.
That's putting positive energy out in the world. I love that.
ElementKnifeCompany.com. I wanted to come back to Elin, though, because he deserves to sell some knives. We always get him as gifts. I feel so bad.
Oh, I've bought a few.
Have you really?
Yeah, I bought 2.
I haven't.
From him, and I've sold a bunch to chefs for him as well.
I need to do that.
He's given me 2. I don't need to buy any.
That's right. Element Knife Company, support Elin Wenzel. And where was I? Rome Sausage. You hear about Rome's the Spice Guy and the Goods Restaurant. Those are the people. Those are the folks that help support the modern eater, along with Code 4 Counseling, Dr. Sara Metz, and Dr. Baby Yoda. How are you getting all this stuff?
This Spice Guy, I went on the other day, and it was just delivered. So I bought a bunch of Spice Guy spices.
Are you lying? Are you lying? They're right there in your hand.
Hatch green chili powder, sweet heat. I have, what else do I have? Citrus pucker pepper. And I hear this is Jay's favorite, roasted garlic blend.
The roasted, yeah, he puts that on everything.
I've already used that one, and it is amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you sure that's not like a 3D printed Dave Avery thing that's sent over to you?
I haven't actually shown all of them. I have 3 things from Dave.
What?
I know.
What's the other thing? Is that like
It's to open doors.
Do you know he keeps peeking his head in that window in the back?
That probably is who that is. That's less creepy to me than who I thought it was.
I don't know what's creepy. So, doctor, like, yes. I don't know. Should I shave my hair? Like, just do something different?
I'll shave
really?
With you. Let's
you're so lying.
I am. No, I don't think I could pull off bald. I don't think I could do it.
Even for charity?
Ooh, that's mean. You throw charity in there.
Yeah.
Like
kids.
Yeah. Oh.
Hungry kids.
Man.
Without jobs.
I'm not
and shoes. No shoes, no jobs.
Let's admit it.
Once again, I'm trying to figure out a way. Grooming right now is guys, right?
And for girls.
Well, what do you mean?
Call dibs on that.
Well, you could just do a little something on the bottom of your hair.
Yeah, do you think that's all the grooming that ladies do there?
Let's see your nails.
I don't get to complain. I was lucky. It's bad. It's growing out, but I had just a light color on. So
I was raised by women, my mother and my sister, right? Yeah. So I could, not saying I would, but I could do your nails.
That would be really helpful.
Oh, my Lord, doctor.
I can braid hair.
Jay can braid hair.
I never learned to braid. So
really?
You two are just more and more valuable to me as we
That's
get to
right.
each other.
Yeah, watch out.
I would completely encourage you to keep these two as far away from you.
That's not true. When all this blows over,
we're going to be besties.
We're tight. That's right. We're already besties.
Brian, are you feeling jealous?
You know what I've already said there, Doctor. I am fine keeping a distance from everyone.
I noticed that. You were leaning earlier.
What my stress is like to keeping people away is what Greg excitement is about putting that razor and turning it on in his hands.
Man, this doctor, he all the way until up to now, he's been so tense. Just the energy coming, and then now he's seemingly settling in and smiling, and he still has his arms.
Well, sure.
What does this say? What does this say, doctor? When people are like that,
one. That's comfort. That's soothing, self-soothing in some way. Yeah.
Guarded.
Yeah.
Are you guarded right now, Brian?
I'm always guarded, man.
No, you're not. Brian's a real touchy-feely guy. I mean, half the time, during normal times, he's smacking my ass and hugging me, and he wants to, you play with my ears a lot. It's so, I almost, if there's anything good that's coming about this 6-foot thing, it's he doesn't touch me all the time anymore.
I love how he so turns this, doctor. If we only opened
Stay
up.
away, Brian.
If we only opened up the real floodgates to what Greg does around around the shop and how he's.
That's over.
I'll tell you, Greg, Jay, and I both run, but we have always had our social distancing.
Well, a certain amount is kind of nice. The personal bubble, I need a big bubble.
We have fun.
Yep.
So, have you cried in the past few days?
I have not. No. Today was a little bit high stress, but no crying. Just feeling overwhelmed. Just a lot. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot. I'm going to throw you this analogy that I've been using on the show as far as business goes.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing right now is businesses being forced to prune their branches to be able to have a nucleus that's healthy, that can serve a purpose to those branches when that growth can be there. So reeling it back in. Okay, so what can we do on a personal basis to make sure that we're pruning those branches that aren't needed right now that could be taking away from our overall health, Doctor?
I absolutely love that. I think especially this time of year as we think about spring and kind of all the new growth that's coming and pruning back the old, I think you're spot on. And I think where people can go with that is really just reevaluating what is at your core, are your core values, your core ethics, your core morals, what brings you the most recharge, and really looking back at what are you at your core. And I think we sometimes just forget to put language to that. And like you said, really just reevaluating what do you absolutely need to stay happy and healthy, and what isn't the biggest priority. Where's the wasted energy right now?
Yeah, so you can serve people better, How can, if you're not serving yourself well, how can you serve other people better?
Well, but let me dig on that just for a second because of the fact that, yes, well, because I would ask you, what are some tips or suggestions that you can give to people to self-soothe?
She said now during this time of quarantine and being away from people, just text your girlfriend and break up with her.
Oh, I did not say that.
I thought you did. Damn it, I did that.
That's what he was using you as a scapegoat last night.
You didn't tell us to get rid of people out of our lives now that we don't have to be face to face. I'm sorry, Doc.
Oh, so sad. Don't do that. I think that, Brian, to your question, I think it depends on the person. I think everybody self-soothes in different ways, but you have to get really kind of down to the basics of, have any of you heard of the Love Languages book?
Yes.
The Love Languages book has a lot of value, and there's these 5 different love languages: physical touch, gift giving, quality time. I'm spacing on the others, but I'll figure it out and do my homework, and I'll get back to you guys tomorrow on that. But there's these 5 love languages, and figuring out how do you give love, how do you recharge other people, but also how do you need to receive that? And really kind of thinking about what does that look like so that you can self-soothe. How do you feed your own self? Can other people feed that need for you? And how can you give to others? I think is really valuable.
Jay, how do you self-soothe?
Don't say alcohol.
No, I don't. I haven't had a drink in a long time. Self-soothe.
It's masturbation, isn't it?
That's a good one.
I mean, that's not even. It's a thing. Don't get me wrong, but not as often as you would think, Doctor. Doctor, it's not as often as you would think.
I like having these clinical conversations.
If you were to know me, you're just like, this guy must be dehydrated his whole life. His whole life is just a big dehydrate, and I mean it is. But I don't self-soothe. My self-soothing is Netflix and
gluttonous food.
And eating, eating terrible food brings me a lot of joy. That also depresses me on the flip side, just like everybody else that's self-aware of what they just put in their body. If you're not self-aware, then you're ignorant, and you're luckier than we are. But I'll say this: I'm trying like hell to get the coronavirus. I'll tell you that, and it's not working.
Wait, I think he's trying to say that he's trying to invite a woman over to his house.
Yeah, there you go.
Terrible joke.
That was a
well. Listen, that's a great joke, but you have to have a certain mind to really get in the lane for that. Otherwise, if you don't have that sense of humor, you're watching it going, "That guy's what the hell does that mean?"
It means people are doing that now.
It just means I'm trying to get. I'm not even trying to get laid. I'm just trying for a high five. It's like, will you high five me or make eye contact?
Oh,
will you
there's
look at
so
me
much
through the
deeper
window?
than this. He's never looking to get laid, quite honestly. He doesn't like that close personal contact.
Hey, doctor, just so you know, we don't get this way unless you're around. I don't know how you bring this out of us. Doesn't
I check
make
in from time to time just to see how jealous I should get. Are you?
we're gonna have to.
Oh, hello there.
We're closing the ears of Sam Pasquale, covering those ears. So sensitive, Sam Pasquale.
He's starting the weird thing again.
What do you mean? When I start talking to Sam Pasquale, hey, how are you? Things are weird right now. So this week's kind of that pruning and getting ready. What do you see in next week as we enter into the fourth week?
Oh, is it really week 4?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I think that's where, again, you're kind of, as we think of the other analogy, what we're hearing a lot is it's not the sprint, it's the marathon.
Mm-hmm.
So, someone's at my door. Is it Dave?
Oh, God.
Is Dave at my door?
We need to document this. Like, we don't want you to disappear. Keep the camera rolling. Are you going to answer the door or no? Like, who would ring your door right now?
Well, it's funny because we can see it. It's right. Oh, no, that's your refrigerator.
Oh, that's my refrigerator. The door
is that your husband playing games with you right now?
I hope. Do that. No, I don't know.
It's like that's Dave with 9 feet of double-sided tape.
Rebecca Berry says that Dave knows where she lives now too.
Rebecca at my door. I miss Rebecca. How's she doing?
She's good. She was in here a little bit earlier. She says hello. Hi, Doc. What I want to say or institute is it's kind of like so here it is. Every year, doctor, I say to myself, I'm going to be ready I love summertime. I'm going to be ready. Yeah. And what that means to me is just like, shed 15 pounds, feel better about yourself, get it to where you can actually enjoy yourself. So get ready, right? Let's get ready for the other side of this thing. How do you do that when you're just so in the muck and the mire? You're weighed down with all of this to say, okay, I need to focus on a month from now.
Yeah, I think you have to pick little small goals. I think, and that's where people get lost with things like weight loss and making these huge changes. They set this broad goal of I want to lose 15 pounds, but they don't set up, well, how do you want that to actually look? Like, how are you going to lose pound 1 through 5 and keep it?
Ice cream every night's not doing it.
Probably isn't. But
no,
it's so
not.
Amazing to
yes,
do that.
It is.
So setting those small goals is what's something that you can do right now in week 4. What's a small, healthy thing you can add to your life? People always focus on the thing they should take away. I should take away these unhealthy things, but they don't add in good things.
That's pretty good.
Healthy things first, and then you'll rely less on the unhealthy things. So the goal for everyone next week is add one healthy thing into their life, whether that's I'm going to add in a walk outside. I'm going to add in another extra couple glasses of water. I'm going to add in meditation or yoga. I'm going to try something new in that world. Add something in.
Well, it's about time you give us some homework.
Yeah.
There's your homework.
Is that the homework? Add something in.
So we have to report back over the weekend. What did we add in that was healthy?
Well, and wouldn't you say it shouldn't be too big of a goal, right? Start off small. Make it achievable.
Yeah, it has to be attainable, and it has to be something that you think, oh my gosh, I was able to do that. Then your brain is excited that it was able to succeed, and then it wants to keep doing that.
Jay?
Yeah.
Could you add in a walk?
A walk?
Yeah. Do you enjoy walks?
Remember, Jay does not like outside walks.
I don't. I mean, I'm not opposed to them, right? It's like watching a movie that you don't have any desire to see. So that's like walking outside for me, right? To where it's like if there's a movie I have no interest in watching at all, it's just not my style of what I'm entertained by. But through the course of some situation,
something enjoyable might come about it. You might get a laugh.
Like if I'm with a woman, that's where I'm going, right? But
it's like reoccurring theme.
I know, but that's the only way I can relate to life, right? So if I want to be with a woman and she says I want to watch this movie, and I have no desire to watch the movie at all, but I go obviously I have ulterior motives, or I'm just trying to appease her, make her happy, and think of her because believe it or not, I do that.
Did you just say let's make a trade?
And I watch it. and I watch the movie, and I come away from the movie going like, that was a fantastic movie. It touched me on so many levels.
But I would have never watched it.
But I would have never watched it, but I enjoyed it. So same thing with walking outside.
I'll take you on a walk.
Somebody, trust me, that's not going to work.
That's not going to work?
Nah. That'd be a run because I'd have to get out of there. But,
hey, so it's call out to Dave Avery because I know either you're outside there at the doctor's house or you're watching. Can you, Dave, figure out how to fix her audio? Okay, he's the audio guy.
Did you restart your modem like I suggested?
Yeah, well, I moved away. I'm not even on my computer anymore. Now I'm on my phone, and it was amazing.
Well, it's just hold on. That you now, the doctor. That what did you restart? Your modem controls all of it. Doesn't matter your phone, computer, anything else.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So, Dave,
that's your little homework.
Dave, start thinking.
That's my positive thing I'll do for you guys next week.
That's right.
Restart my modem. That sounds dirty.
Yeah, restart your. Well, Dave, right now, I can't even imagine. Right, he's at full attention to hearing that. Please cover your ears, Pasquale. Cover your ears.
It must be Friday at 5:00.
That's right. You got big plans for this weekend, Doctor? Going to go sporting event, a play, something like that?
Yeah, work.
What are you working on?
Well, I own my own business, so I got to show up at the office tomorrow. Yeah. When there's nobody there, my husband and I are going to go. We got to do some filming for another of our contracts. We're going to do some little training bites for them. So a whole day working tomorrow.
A full day of work
Yeah.
with your husband.
With my husband, who I like, as you guys know. So that's okay.
I saw that picture you sent over of him dancing. What? Explain that picture. I should have put it up on the thing. Would he love it if I put it up on this stream?
Did he send it to you?
I sent it on his blackmail.
She said,
and you don't have it?
I know I have. I just didn't think to get it prepped. But I can.
They didn't send it to you for your personal collection.
Well,
I didn't think of putting it on. I thought it was from me. I put
it. Well, all right, hold on.
I printed it.
Give me 60 seconds, and I'll have both.
Put that up. That was blackmail.
No,
it's coming.
I want to see that.
Now it's coming.
Sharing. I felt like I was a little off today, Doctor.
You know, I gotta say, I was reading your energy earlier, and I thought you seem tired. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just think you must be really tired by the end of a week doing this. It's got to be a lot.
He had company yesterday.
No, I'll be completely honest with you. Brian's been throwing me off the past couple of days. Yeah. Coming into the studio, and I'm trying to focus on an interview, and God love him. I love Brian. He asks great questions and everything else. But you can't come in. It's 2:00 when we start. You can't come in at 3 and then want to jump in on an interview, and I'm focused on something, and his legs are shaking, and he's checking his phone, and I'm like trying to get in that zone, and like a normal person, I'd just be like, get the out, but it's Brian. And
is that what a normal person would do?
That's what a normal person would do, is just like not allow it to, because I knew it was going to happen, right? I know Brian well enough to know that was, and I'm not just blaming it on Brian, but the outside stuff, and Jay and I try and get this ready, and then it was a really important interview with Adam Schlegel today, and I probably wasn't the best person to interview him, and I think folks are getting a little tired of the well, let's react. Everybody's like, it sucks, so where do you take them? So I try and get a better interview with that. And then just the smallest things are kind of throwing me off. And then I turned to Jay, and he was thrown off too, like his usual jubilant self type of thing. And so I just never caught that momentum. It wasn't like I wanted to stop, but I wanted everybody to stop and recognize what was going on. But it's hard to get everybody on the same page. So how do I do that? How do I convey to Brian? I need him to be cool when he comes in here, and how do I do that?
Live on air, so we all now are aware of the expectation of Brian.
What do you think, Brian?
Hold him accountable next week.
I think that'd be a good idea. Well, it's interesting to hear this because, here's where it would really come down to is I'm coming. I try to set it up. I ask you questions before I come down, and you don't respond to me
because I'm doing prep.
Well, I know I'm trying to prep too. All day I've been thinking about the show.
I know.
And because the first thing I called you this morning when you didn't answer your phone, and I called you to tell you this idea. And so then I said,
great idea.
And then I emailed you to you because I couldn't communicate. Yeah. So I think it's
couples therapy right here. I know. And again, what's funny is couples therapy is the same no matter what sort of couple it is. And this is where setting your intention for each other to say, I can't be available to you at 2:00. I can be available to you at noon, or I can be available whatever time. And both of you kind of setting an intention for, this is what I need from you. This is when I can be available to you. And I might shank you with my really long knife if you interrupt that at another time.
I just like to, and again, I like to communicate. And a lot of times I will be the one to blow up a situation because I know after the situation is blown up that it'll be better.
Yeah.
Some way. If people are coming.
Well, because it's communication.
Yeah, it's communication.
So
we need to communicate a little bit better, Brian. But I do need you when you want to participate with the show, right?
I told you I'd be here every day at 3.
But I don't know if you can do that though. You're coming in mid stride.
Oh, well, that you just got to tell me. You got to set that boundary. If I can't, that's fine. I won't come down.
2
But
o'clock?
I
Can you be here
I,
too?
2 is
gotta be.
Is tough.
At least before.
I've already pushed back a bunch of meetings because that means I leave at 1 to get here on time.
So then the answer is no, and I'm so stressed out just listening to these guys talk about it. Doctor, right now I'm showing a very beautiful picture of you and husband Nick in lighting, and then
is that Larimer Square?
That's Larimer Square.
And then the next picture, and I hate to do this to Nick because he's in the last stream. He said I like Jay, which made me feel so warm inside. But I'll say this: I'm going to put this picture up of him anyway, just because and it's not even a bad picture. That's one of these pictures, where it's like you act like you don't want people to see it, right? Because it's this, that, and the other. But at the same time, you're like, man, I'm making this yellow shirt with black tank top work.
He does rock that outfit. I think he's pretty sexy in that. Yep.
I'm not seeing that picture.
It'll come up.
Oh, it's coming up here.
Yeah, you're on a delay, but
stars a couple years back.
I think that, Doctor, that's healthy though to have good, honest discussion with people that you love, right?
People recognizing conflict can actually be really healthy. You have to have enough love for each other that you aren't mean about it, but conflict in any relationship is important. You got to work.
Wait, what in the hell am I looking at right now? Whose legs are those?
No, I don't know who the woman is. I just know it's not.
That's not me.
Sarah.
That's not. But this is your husband?
Professional. That's my husband. Yes.
What was that on?
That was on the local version of Dancing with the Stars.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
Well, no, it all makes sense now.
It looks like. Hey, man, listen. They always what do they say? Doctor, would you agree with the women like men that can dance? Right? I mean, that's a real
transcends
thing.
Into
I know that, but I'm just saying.
Yes.
Can you dance, Jay?
I can't dance.
You can't? Well,
I mean, now listen.
Dance this weekend, Jay.
You wait a minute. You made me dance. You know what I'm talking about. Greg, God, there's a video of it, Dr. Sarah.
Oh, yeah. I made him dance.
It was fat and long-haired Jay, and he made and also in my drinking days, and he talked me into dancing really awfully. And
you know those festivals where there's a band out and folks are like, they should come up to dance, but they're not, and they're just kind of wait. I said, Jay, you got to be that one person that sits, and he did, and
I
it was surprising.
Well, that was back before I developed my hatred for him. I still
Jay,
thought he knew what he was doing.
You had 2 women come up to you and want to dance with you when you were doing that.
Thing. You got to dance more. You'll get more women.
Yeah, if you're into people in their 60s.
Can you dance, Brian? I bet Brian can dance.
And I'm not exaggerating by too many years. I might be exaggerating by like 6 years, all right?
I think that should be your thing, though, Jay. Add dancing.
I should be a dancer for sure.
Well, just add it. Just do it at home. Sure. No one has to be watching.
Here, I'll answer you right now. No.
There you go.
I'm not going to. Listen, doctor, explain this to him. If it's going to be that hard to get me outside for a walk, you think I'm just going to start dancing as my additive?
Doing a little samba down the sidewalk, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Doctor, the funny thing about this conversation, I guarantee I could find a woman that Jay would be dancing like Frank Sinatra.
Well, listen, man. Well, there's no secret to that. I mean, and I think I'm just more honest about that. And because Greg earlier when he was like, it's always about a woman or anything. It's like women are the only reason I get out of bed. I mean, truthfully, right? I mean, it's the aspiration or the hope that I'll meet somebody and find somebody to fall in love with and spend time and actually want to spend time with and so on and so forth. Other than that, I would, we'd all weigh 600 pounds and we just wouldn't give a care about anything.
Whoa. Slow down. Because you're saying women validate your whole existence. And without a woman in your life, you would be 600 pounds?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Man.
Now, listen, until all the women are gone or until I have no interest in sexual anything, then I'll maybe, I don't know.
I would hate to see what kind of miserable person you would be if you couldn't function on that level, if you know what I mean.
Oh, well, we're rapidly approaching. The more we talk about it, like the less testosterone I produce.
Doctor, is this your last week with us? In other words, are you just completely freaked out? I mean, I said things are going to get weird, but we've got to.
Harder than that to scare me off.
Really?
Okay. So much harder. Challenge accepted, I'm sure, but that's not even. Oh, it gets so much creepier than that in my day-to-day. Yeah.
You're going to see us come back strong on Monday.
I love it. And healthy, because you're all going to have chosen your healthy thing.
Yeah. Tomorrow night, can you be with us
If you
on
would
the
like
radio
to be.
show? The radio show?
There, I'll be there. Yep.
Sweet. Love it. Dr. Sara Metz. Dr. Baby Yoda. Dave says he's home doing tech support, so he's not at your door.
I'm going to go look on my doorstep, and I better see another little 3D something.
Okay. We'll see.
More specific.
I'll leave it there. All right. Dr. Sara Metz. Thanks, doctor.
Bye, guys.
See you tomorrow night.
Thank
She's
you.
great. She hangs out with us all the time. I don't know, Brian. We got to figure this out, though. And I don't even think it's necessarily just the being here at 3. I think it's more of we got to get you where you're calm again and you feel comfortable.
After the show, I can totally tell you how to do it because I know what it is.
You do? You want to say it?
Hands down. Oh, I can tell it. If we want to talk about it on the air, sure. I think what needs to happen is just a little more.
We're going to end the broadcast. We love all of you. Thanks for joining us. 2 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Tomorrow, 6 o'clock, we'll be here. Will you be here?
I will be.
Last week, you didn't want to come to the show. Saturday
I know.
night.
Remember, you made a deal with me, though, right? What was the deal you made with me?
Tell me what it is.
It was that there are 3 people here at the show.
Tomorrow night.
You, me, and Jay. And everyone is welcome to join us, and we will bring everyone in on a live feed any way we can.
We can't do the video feed.
Yeah, but we will do phone calling. We will do, my thing is just having a plan, knowing what the plan is. Don't get thrown off. And it's so strange because I can deal.
I love you to death.
I can deal with a curveball.
I love you to death.
I know.
And I know you
I know.
love
That's
me.
why. Yeah. That's why you brought it up.
And everything that we do is hopefully just for our best interest as a team here.
Oh, definitely. Well, and more than that, it's how we are, listen, one of the things that's been trying for this whole time with the bigger picture is America has become a service industry. That's something I looked at a long time ago. We as a country, the only thing we really offer is services anymore. We're not a manufacturer anymore, but we offer services. And so with that, the Modern Eater is providing a service to the food and beverage industry. And we need to push ourselves to be better every day. So the service that we provide to our community is top notch.
We got to prune.
And that's, we might have to prune. We might have to do stuff.
Which means just me, you, and Jay tomorrow night. Jay just can't wait to push that. We're out of here.
No, hey, listen, man. I swear to God,
he's got to get back to
most of the time. I'll give that to you all day, every day. But no, because I'm going to play our outro video. I got to turn our sound off, make sure that has volume.
Thank you to all of our sponsors, Little Rich Schneider. You're not allowed to come here tomorrow night.
But we will call you.
But we will call you.
We love. Hey, listen. It's not that I don't love everybody.
I know.
I am the most loving, caring, giving person that could be there. I just am. I have this weird thing about going on.
And I think it's deeper than that. But we'll sort through this all. And truly, I don't think that anything that we're experiencing right now that it's unique. Other folks are experiencing it too. We'll get through this all together. Trust us. 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Back here, Studio Kitchen, Colorado. We will be live on Facebook and YouTube and Periscope and Twitter.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, but make sure whatever you do, be safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow.